के देखो, धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रिज धाम आके
क्या
देखो वो ना
हाँ
इनका इसमें कभी ना लॉगिन
तुम्हारे पे आया होगा,
मेरे फोन पे नहीं आया अभी।
अब भी समय है प्यारो, गोविंद का नाम गा लो,
तुम्हारा गुस्सा का नहीं है,
मौका न छूट जाए,
तुम्हारा गुस्सा का लगे,
किस्मत को तुम जगा लो, चरणों की धूल अपने, चरणों की धूल अपने मस्तक लगा के देखो, धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रिज धाम आके देखो, धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रिज धाम आके देखो। कर दो बेड़ा पार राधेल बेली सरकार, कर दो बेड़ा पार राधेल बेली सरकार, राधेल बेली सरकार, राधेल बेली सरकार, कर दो मन चले वृंदावन धाम, राधे राधे गाएंगे, मन चले वृंदावन धाम, राधे राधे गाएंगे, राधे राधे गाएंगे, श्यामा श्यामा गाएंगे, राधे राधे गाएंगे, श्यामा श्यामा गाएंगे, तेरे पूरन होंगे काम, राधे राधे गाएंगे, मन चले वृंदावन धाम, राधे राधे गाएंगे।
ऐसी कृपा करो श्री राधे, दीजो वृंदावन को वास, हाँ वृंदावन को वास, दीजो हरि भक्तन को सहास, हाँ वृंदावन को वास, दीजो हरि भक्तन को सहास, ऐसी कृपा करो श्री राधे, दीजो श्री वृंदावन।
यमुना मैया काली काली, राधा पूरी पूरी, वृंदावन में धूम मचावे बरसाने री छोरी, ब्रज धाम राधा जू की, ब्रज धाम राधा जू की, रजदाने लागे, रजदाने लागे, मान कारो कारो जमुना जीरो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से भरी उड़ी राधा रानी लागे, महारानी लागे, कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे, ओ माने कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी।
Thank you. It's a huge honor for us to receive this award. We are really thankful to our beloved Krishna, Srimati Radharani and Sri Vrindavan Dham.
में विराजे शाम दीवानी, मेरे मन में विराजे शाम दीवानी, जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी, मेरो मन लाग्यो बरसाने में, जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी, मन हटो दुनिया दारी से, मन हटो दुनिया दारी से, जहाँ मिले खारा पानी, मेरो मन लाग्यो बरसाने में, जहाँ विराजे राधा रानी।
मन भूल मत जइयो राधा रानी के चरण, मन भूल मत जइयो राधा रानी के चरण, रानी के चरण महारानी के चरण, रानी के चरण महारानी के चरण, मन भूल मत जइयो, मन भूल मत जइयो राधा रानी के चरण।
बैठी रहूं फुलझर के कोने, बैठी रहूं फुलझर के कोने, शाम रात का गाऊं, शाम रात का गाऊं, किशोरी तो दे चरणन की रज, शामानु तो दे चरणन की रज।
मैं तो राधा श्री राधा सदा ही रटूं, कभी द्वारे से स्वामी ने कहना हटूं, मेरे मन की व्यथा सब हर लो स्वामी श्री राधे, एक नजर कृपा की कर दो स्वामी श्री राधे, एक नजर कृपा की कर दो लाडली श्री राधे।
ये नाम नहीं भैया, ये स्वयं किशोरी है, इसमें कोई भेद नहीं, हरिदास तो पगड़ी है, तुम मानो न मानो कहते सब वेद यही। आँख मूंद के देख, आँख मूंद के देख, छुएगा तुझको मुरली वाला है, राधा राधा नाम, राधा राधा नाम हमको प्राणों से प्यारा है, राधा राधा नाम। राधे राधे बोलिए वृंदावन में बोलिए, राधे राधे बोलिए बरसाना में बोलिए,
राधे राधे बोलिए वृंदावन में डोलिए, राधे राधे बोलिए बरसाना में डोलिए, राधे राधे बोलिए वृंदावन में डोलिए।
वृंदावन धाम आया, कृष्ण मंदिर झलकाया, नाचे बजावे देखो श्याम गाना। वृंदावन धाम आया, कृष्ण मंदिर झलकाया, नाचे बजावे देखो श्याम गाना। जमुना जी की बहती धारा, मधुर है कितना नजारा, खेलत आज हम सबों को लगे प्यारा। जी की बहती धारा, मधुर है कितना नजारा,
चलो करो, मैं अपने को भी करता हूँ। करो करो।
जिंदाबाद धाम निराला, रत्न मंदिर झलकाला, नाचे बजावे देखो शाम। कमल के फूलों की पंखुड़ियों से है घिरा हुआ स्थान, सुंदर स्वर्ण का लुभावना। अष्ट पंखुड़ियां है साजे, अष्ट गोपियां विराजे, बीच में विराजे राधिका श्याम। अष्ट पंखुड़ियां है साजे, अष्ट गोपियां विराजे, बीच में विराजे राधिका श्याम। वृंदावन धाम निराला, रत्न मंदिर झलकाला, बंसी बजावे देखो श्याम। श्याम मेरा बाबला, संदूक के राधिका, दिव्य जोड़ी के जाऊं बलिहारी। दिव्य लीलाएं हैं ये, हृदय में सदा रहे, करे विनती भरो तब दास। दिव्य लीलाएं हैं ये, हृदय में सदा रहे, करे विनती भरो तब दास। वृंदावन धाम निराला, रत्न मंदिर झलकाला, बंसी बजावे देखो श्याम। वृंदावन धाम निराला, रत्न मंदिर झलकाला, बंसी बजावे देखो श्याम। प्रभावशाली व्यक्तित्व, प्रखर चिंतक, एक आम भारतीय सा, भीड़ में गुम हो जाने वाला सामान्य सा चेहरा, जिनके दुबले पतले शरीर में समाया हुआ था आकाश सा व्यक्तित्व, समुद्र सी गहरी सोच और समय पर परिवर्तन के पद चिन्ह छोड़ जाने की अदम्य क्षमता। ऐसे थे एकात्म मानववाद और अंत्योदय जैसे दर्शन के प्रणेता पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी, जिन्होंने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी राष्ट्र को समर्पित कर अपने प्रखर विचारों व व्यापक चिंतन से आने वाले समय में राजनीति ही नहीं वरन राष्ट्र नीति की भी नई परिभाषा दी। उनके सिद्धांतों ने एक ऐसे संगठन की नींव रखी जो आने वाले समय में देश की नीति का निर्धारण करने वाला था। दीनदयाल जी बहुआयामी व्यक्तित्व के धनी थे। इस महान व्यक्तित्व में कुशल चिंतक, संगठन शास्त्री, शिक्षाविद, राजनीतिज्ञ, वक्ता व लेखक का प्रतिबिंब था। 25 सितंबर 1916 को मथुरा जिले के छोटे से गांव नंगला चंद्रभान में पंडित दीनदयाल जी का जन्म एक अति निर्धन परिवार में हुआ था। यह कहना मुश्किल है कि यह उनके जीवन की यात्रा का आरंभ था या जीवन के संघर्षों की यात्रा का। बालक दीनदयाल होश संभाल भी न पाए थे कि उनके माता पिता का देहांत हो गया। दीनदयाल जी ने सीकर के कल्याण हाई स्कूल से मैट्रिक और पिलानी के बिड़ला कॉलेज से इंटर की परीक्षा पास की। इन्हें दोनों ही परीक्षाओं में गोल्ड मेडल प्राप्त हुआ। सीकर के महाराजा ने दीनदयाल जी की प्रतिभा को देखकर उन्हें छात्रवृत्ति भी दी। फिर कानपुर के सनातन धर्म कॉलेज कानपुर से उन्होंने बीए की पढ़ाई की। जो विषय यहां पढ़ाए जाते थे, दीनदयाल जी ने उसका मन लगाकर अध्ययन किया। लेकिन दीनदयाल जी ने यहां वो शिक्षा और दीक्षा भी ली जो इस कॉलेज के पाठ्यक्रम का हिस्सा नहीं था। यही उनका संपर्क श्री बलवंत महाशब्दे से हुआ, जिनकी प्रेरणा से सन 1937 में वे राष्ट्रीय स्वयं सेवक संघ में शामिल हो गए। दीनदयाल जी के लिए यह समय व्यक्तिगत संघर्षों के साये से बाहर निकलकर राष्ट्र की समग्रता के दर्शन का साबित हुआ। दीनदयाल जी बीए करने के बाद एमए करने के लिए आगरा चले गए। यहां पर वे नानाजी देशमुख और भावराव जुगादे के साथ राष्ट्रीय स्वयं सेवक संघ की गतिविधियों में हिस्सा लेने लगे। उनमें सामाजिक जीवन के प्रति चेतना के अंकुर फूट चुके थे। उनके मामा, जिन्होंने बचपन में उनका लालन पालन किया था, उन्हें लगने लगा था कि भांजा अब पढ़ लिख गया है, परिवार के लिए कुछ करेगा। लेकिन दीनदयाल जी का परिवार तो बहुत विशाल था। समस्त भारत को उन्होंने अपना परिवार मान लिया था। दीनदयाल जी का लक्ष्य कुछ और ही था। उन्होंने अपने लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति के लिए सिविल सेवा परीक्षा में उत्तीर्ण होने के बावजूद उसका परित्याग कर दिया। उन्होंने अपने संकल्प के बारे में अपने मामा जी को जो पत्र लिखा, उसकी बानगी देखिए। राष्ट्र के प्रति समर्पण की जिद नजर आती है। जब किसी मनुष्य के किसी अंग को लकवा मार जाता है तो वो चेतना शून्य हो जाता है। इसी भांति हमारे समाज को लकवा मार गया है। उसको कोई कितना भी कष्ट क्यों न दे, पर महसूस ही नहीं होता। हर एक तभी महसूस करता है जब चोट उसके सिर पर आकर पड़ती है। हमारे पतन का कारण हमारे संगठन की कमी ही है। बाकी बुराइयां, अशिक्षा आदि तो पतित अवस्था के लक्षण मात्र ही हैं। इसीलिए संगठन करना ही संघ का ध्येय है। इसके अतिरिक्त और वो कुछ भी नहीं करना चाहता। परमात्मा ने हम लोगों को सामर्थ्य बनाया है। क्या फिर हम अपने में से एक को भी देश के लिए नहीं दे सकते? आपने मुझे शिक्षा, दीक्षा देकर सब प्रकार से योग्य बनाया। क्या आप मुझे समाज के लिए नहीं दे सकते, जिस समाज के हम उतने ही ऋणी हैं? यह तो एक प्रकार से त्याग भी नहीं है, विनियोग है। समाज रूपी जीवन में खाद देना है। फिर उन्होंने पीछे मुड़कर नहीं देखा। देश स्वतंत्र हो चुका था, पर समाज संगठित नहीं था। देश में कई विसंगतियां पैदा हो रही थी। उनमें सत्ता का लोभ नहीं, समाज में वैकल्पिक विचारधारा की स्थापना का दृढ़ निश्चय था। इस उद्देश्य के लिए वे जी जान से जुट गए। दीनदयाल जी के अनुसार भारत जिन समस्याओं का सामना कर रहा है, उसका मूल कारण इसकी राष्ट्रीय पहचान की उपेक्षा है। आर्थिक योजनाओं तथा आर्थिक प्रगति का माप समाज के ऊपर की सीढ़ी पर पहुंचे हुए व्यक्ति नहीं, बल्कि सबसे नीचे के स्तर पर विद्यमान व्यक्ति से होगा। अनेकता में एकता और विभिन्न रूपों में एकता की अभिव्यक्ति भारतीय संस्कृति की सोच रही है। अब दीनदयाल जी की भूमिका बदल चुकी थी। अब चुनौती थी राष्ट्र के पुनर्निर्माण की, जिसके लिए उन्होंने लखनऊ में राष्ट्र धर्म प्रकाशन संस्था की स्थापना की और यहां से राष्ट्र धर्म नामक मासिक पत्रिका का प्रकाशन आरंभ किया। इसके अलावा उन्होंने 5 जन्य व स्वदेश के संपादन में भी सहयोग दिया। अपने सार्वजनिक जीवन में उनकी सादगी और सरलता मानो एक किंवदंती बन गई थी। उनके वैचारिक दृष्टि से ही नहीं, आचार व्यवहार में भी कार्यकर्ता उनसे बहुत कुछ सीखते थे। गंभीर से गंभीर विषय भी अपनी दैनिक गतिविधियों के बीच बड़ी सरलता से निपटा दिया करते। उनकी इन्हीं विशेषताओं के कारण उन्हें राजनीतिक क्षेत्र का दायित्व सौंपा गया। दिनांक 21 सितंबर 1951 के ऐतिहासिक दिन को दीनदयाल जी ने उत्तर प्रदेश में एक राजनीतिक सम्मेलन का सफल आयोजन किया। इसी सम्मेलन में देश में एक नए राजनीतिक दल भारतीय जनसंघ की राज्य इकाई की स्थापना हुई। इसके एक माह बाद 21 अक्टूबर सन 1951 को डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी ने भारतीय जनसंघ के प्रथम अखिल भारतीय सम्मेलन की अध्यक्षता की। दीनदयाल जी में संगठन का अद्वितीय और अद्भुत कौशल था। समय बीतने के साथ भारतीय जनसंघ की विकास यात्रा में वो ऐतिहासिक दिन भी आया जब सन 1968 में विनम्रता की मूर्ति इस महान नेता को दल के अध्यक्ष के रूप में प्रतिष्ठित किया गया। अपने उत्तरदायित्व के निर्वहन और जनसंघ के देशभक्ति के संदेश को लेकर दीनदयाल जी ने दक्षिण भारत का भ्रमण किया। पंडित दीनदयाल जी की कुशल संगठन क्षमता के लिए डॉक्टर श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी ने कहा था कि अगर भारत को 2 दीनदयाल मिल जाते तो भारत का राजनीतिक परिदृश्य ही अलग होता। इससे पहले कि जनसंघ राजनीतिक ताकत बन पाता, डॉक्टर मुखर्जी की रहस्यमय परिस्थितियों में मृत्यु, नवजात पार्टी को संभालने की जिम्मेदारी दीनदयाल जी के कंधों पर आ गई। राजनीतिक कार्य करते हुए भी संगठनात्मक कार्य उनके लिए सर्वोपरि था। उन्होंने 1967 में जनसंघ के कालीकट अधिवेशन में पार्टी का अखिल भारतीय अध्यक्ष का पद तब स्वीकार किया जब दल के संगठनात्मक नींव डालने का कार्य पूर्ण हो गया। 11 फरवरी 1968 को वज्राघात हुआ जब सारे देश ने उनकी हत्या का समाचार सुना। पूरा देश शोकाकुल हो गया, लेकिन जाने से पहले वो देश को दे गए एक ऐसा दर्शन जो देश के मानस पटल से लुप्त होने लगा था। उन दिनों देश समाजवाद और पूंजीवाद के द्वंद्वों से गुजर रहा था। तब के राजनीतिक नेतृत्व को भारतीय सनातन परंपरा की विशालता और राष्ट्र की अपनी भौतिक शक्ति का भाव नहीं हो पा रहा था। वो कभी कहीं से अपने विकास का मॉडल ढूंढ रहा था। एकात्म मानव दर्शन इस अंकुर के वट वृक्ष बनने की यात्रा अभी जारी है। दीनदयाल जी के एकात्म मानववाद और अंत्योदय के सपने को साकार करने के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार दृढ़ संकल्प है।
Namaskar. Hello and welcome to this very special commemoration of the 56th Punyatithi of the legend of Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji. आज ही का दिन इतना विशेष इसलिए भी है कि आज महात्मा गांधी और पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी दोनों की जो असैसिनेशन हुआ दोनों का उसका भी 13 दिन का जो गैप है, the 12th as we had initiated upon 30th of January 1948 and 11th of February 1968. Both intellectual servants of the country, ideological servants of the country, they are both martyrdom is separated by 13 days, 12 days as well. यस, सो पर महात्मा गांधी के सत्याग्रह, उनकी पॉलिटिकल आइडियोलॉजी के बारे में पूरे विश्व भर में काफी कुछ जाना और माना जाता है. एंड इनफैक्ट मेनी ऑफ द वेस्टर्न मूवमेंट्स हैव बीन इंस्पायर्ड फ्रॉम मार्टिन लूथर किंग टू नेल्सन मंडेला. गांधी जी के सत्याग्रह, गांधी जी के जो पूरा उनका चिंतन था, ग्राम्य दर्शन का चिंतन था, द गांधीयन फिलॉसफी एज सच इज क्वाइट वेल नोन. बट लाइक the obscure martyrdom of Pandit Deen Ji, as we just heard in that short film, that he was found dead on 11th of February 1968 in unknown circumstances. So उनका भी जो एकात्म मानवतावाद दर्शन है, वह भी एक लेवल तक वो उतने स्तर तक प्रतिपादित और प्रचलित नहीं हो पाया है. At Rethink India, we felt it's our onerous duty to pay our tribute to this legend of India by furthering his integral philosophy of integral humanism. The savants today, whom which we will be recognizing, the 28 nakshatras, as we have chosen to call each one of them, nakshatra जो कि हमारे कर्म फल का रिकॉर्ड रखते हैं, और उनके माध्यम से ही हमारा जो भारतीय अधिष्ठान में पुनर्जन्म और पुरलोक का भाव रहता है. तो आप सभी नक्षत्रों के जो कर्म हैं, उन सभी का हम अभिवादन आज के इस मंच से करने का प्रस्ताव है. इंटीग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म एज अ in brevity, Karuna Gopal ma'am, who will be felicitated right here, she has written a very elaborate article today in the contemporary context of integral humanism for a new India, and she will be entailing it further in the course of this deliberation. But मूलतः जो हमारे यहाँ चतुर पुरुषार्थों की बात हुई है, धर्म, अर्थ, काम और मोक्ष, द इंटीग्रल क्वार्टेट, द इंटीग्रल क्वाड, हम लोग जियो स्ट्रैटेजिक अफेयर्स में क्वाड की बात करते हैं, but in the space of I would say political ideologies, the quad में जो हमारे यहाँ चतुर पुरुषार्थों की बात है, धर्म, अर्थ, काम और मोक्ष, उसके अराउंड दीनदयाल जी ने 4 अपने लेक्चर्स के माध्यम से इस इंटीग्रल फिलॉसफी को प्रतिपादित किया. एंड वी एट रीथिंक इंडिया अंडरस्टैंड दिस इन अ वेरी एज अ फंक्शन, जैसे E is equal to MC स्क्वायर एक इक्वेशन बन गई, एक युगांतरकारी फिजिक्स का एक सूत्र बन गया, कि इन चारों अवयवों को हम कैसे जोड़कर देखें, हाउ वी कैन सी दीज 4 पुरुषार्थास इन एन इंटीग्रल फैशन, इन अ very coordinated fashion. So at Rethink India, our limited understanding, we feel that what it actually means is कि जो भी कामनाएं हैं, whatever desires, human desires we have, the desires have to be anchored in dharma. But केवल anchoring in dharma से काम नहीं होगा. Those desires have to be liberating. They have to be moksha pradayini as well. और ऐसी जो desires हैं, ऐसी जो human desires, ऐसी कामनाएं जो हैं, उनके फुलफिलमेंट के लिए जो अर्थ का अनुसंधान है, वही इंटीग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म है, वही भारत के चतुर पुरुषार्थों का इंटीग्रल क्वाड है. सो दिस इज द स्मॉल फंक्शन व्हिच वी फील दैट दिस इज व्हाट Deen Ji's entire work has been all around. And in this very year, very epochal year, just after the COVID disruption, पर एक प्रकार से इस COVID disruption ने, it has brought about a more connected world. And today, wherever we are connected to commemorate this very solemn occasion by the power of technology. Intent है तो technology has brought us together. So भारतवर्ष को जो G20 जो एक बड़ा ही multilateral platform है, उसकी अध्यक्षता करने का गौरव मिला. And as we, the entire country is commemorating the coming 25 years, हम लोग 75 वर्ष की वर्षगांठ में अपनी स्वतंत्रता तो मनाया हमने 2022 में, but this entire 25 years we are all collectively aspiring to achieve I would say the destiny of India in various ways. It has been enunciated by savants of all denominations कि दिव्य भारत, भव्य भारत. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस काल को, these 25 aspirational years, he has named it as the Amrit Kal. And such aspirational epochs are so very important because it brings together these small energies of each one of us, like in a metallic conductor, when electrical field is put across, the electrons are oriented in a particular direction. तो जब 140 करोड़ मनीषियों का यह देश जब आगे बढ़ेगा एक उद्यत डायरेक्शन में, तो what all cannot be achieved. और हमेशा हमारे यहाँ कहा गया कि भारत जो कि विश्व विजय जो करना चाहता है वो आत्म विजय से परिष्कृत होकर, उसको कोई भूमि का टेम्पटेशन नहीं है, किसी दूसरे पर आधिपत्य नहीं जमाना है. And this is what integral humanism is all about. So at a time when when G20 summit is being headed by India under the aspirational theme of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we felt कि भारतवर्ष से ऐसा क्या मैसेज, ऐसा क्या दर्शन हम प्रतिपादित कर सकते हैं जो वैश्विक हो, which is universal and timeless. And somewhere or the other we felt that the philosophy of integral humanism, which has a lots of expansions, भारतवर्ष की मनीषा में बात यही रही है कि हमने हमेशा से बहुत ही क्लिष्ट से क्लिष्ट तत्वों को बहुत ही सूक्ष्म से सूक्ष्म रूप से उसको अभिव्यक्त कर दिया गया है. 18,000 श्लोक की श्रीमद् भगवद गीता भागवतम, जो कि शुक और परीक्षित के बीच का संवाद है, उसको केवल 4 श्लोकों में ही हमने समेट डाला. सो ब्रेविटी इज a very profound notion of Sanatan Bharat, but somehow or the other the modern scholarly treatise needs that the small sutras, they have to be elaborated upon, they have to be worked upon, they have to be applied upon. So that is where these 28 nakshatras whom we are felicitating today under the name of the Panditji, and also these initiatives, what we felt, they have a profound impact across the entire G20 universe. So this is not just a India-centric aspect alone. जो भी इस भारतवर्ष में उपजा है, ये जो सारे initiatives, चाहे वो individual हैं, चाहे institutional हैं, वो सभी की सभी, they have an impact. They can have a cascading impact across the G20, or G20, as we all know, it comprises of the majority of the global power. So with that aspiration, we, our editorial board, our teams really went deeper into it. And we culled out the very specific facets which we felt that they can be taken upon at the policy levels. And today we are really privileged enough that we have the movers and shakers of the government who are really, I would say, architecting and delivering a lot of aspirational governmental programs. We have thinkers and tinkerers at the same time. We have people from the civil society, a very mix, as you can see on the backdrop. So it has been our great good fortune to have you today, this afternoon, in the name of Pandit Deen Dayal ji. And the idea is how we can branch out this very precept of integral humanism in eclectic fashions. So without any further ado, I would just start off the celebrations yeah. So the first and the foremost commemoration, we at Reengineering India had been researching on the precept of integral humanism in a big way. And we found that the global corporate bodies have started giving up their annual integrated reports, the annual returns. They are called as integrated reporting. So we initiated something called integrated reporting recognitions and threw up a challenge to the business schools across the country that please go through this annual integrated reporting, the corporate reporting, the platinum standard of corporate reporting, and assess them in the purview of integral humanism. So
corporations the world over are switching to the integrated reporting format, an indication of the growing stress on integrated thinking in order to ensure that organizational value is not just created today, but is also sustained tomorrow. The Indian mind has always been biased towards such an integrated whole since times immemorial. The emergence of the corporate integrated reporting format is thereby an ode to this quintessential integrated thinking of the Indian mind, of which Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, the proponent of the doctrine of integral humanism, was an eminent exponent of.
So we would like to recognize this effort of the Faculty of Management at KLE Technological University for having undertaken an in-depth assessment of the annual integrated reports of Asian Paints, Larsen & Toubro, and Tata Steel in the ambit of integral humanism. We would request the representatives from KLE University to accept this token tribute from this August forum and also address.
Dr.
over.
Sagar Patil, sir, from KLE Technological University.
Please join in.
Yeah, he's done. Request you to kindly unmute yourself and speak a few words, sir. KLE Technological University. They're joining.
Just a moment, please.
Just a minute.
So perhaps we'll come back. So the whole idea was how we can manifest this philosophical precept of integral humanism into the techno-managerial and government spaces. So this is one of the ideas which we felt like recognizing and trumpeting, as we call Rethink India, as it's a trumpeting platform of all the great good work which is happening in every nook and cranny of this sacred Sanatan Bharat. At this juncture, I would now like to felicitate one of the very ardent, eminent IITians. We all know about the Pan IIT movement across. We would like to bestow this Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay recognition for Reengineering G20 on late Ramakrishna Swamiji. Posthumously, we lost him this November. He was suffering from a long illness, but for his relentless striving for sustaining and strengthening the quintessential IITian spirit of intense inner transformation, which he carried forward across a vast milieu of Indian national narratives, having a global manifestation through a forum called IIT Global, which was a precursor to the Pan IIT movement per se, integrally anchored into the quad of Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha, presenting an emphatic role model to be emulated by alumni associations across G20. So we would like to pay our humble tributes to Ramda, as we called him. And we have also tried to superimpose the names of the 28 nakshatra on each one of the recipients. So Ramda's personality was that of a stormy god. He was all into activism, all throughout that how to champion a cause. And in his spirit, his entire work, which is being carried over by IIT Global, the entire work is being furthered again by eminent, I would say, book, kind of a threat of there's a cumulative and a collective attack on the rise of India, as we have been witnessing all through this new year. Documentary comes into place, a kind of a share market debacle comes into place. So there are also attacks on the brand IIT, and we have with us
Anurag Sharma ji
from Infinity Foundation. So this is a book which is being released soon on the battle for IITs, defense of meritocracy. I would request Anurag ji to give a context of this challenge for one of the biggest brands of India, which has ever been built in these 7 decades, and share a few perspectives over here. Anurag Sharma ji.
Yeah, namaste. Am I audible?
Yeah, sir, loud and clear.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the invitation. And Rajiv ji and myself are very grateful to Rethink India, to Raghav ji and to Surbhi ji. So as you have already mentioned, this is Rajiv ji will be coming to India on 16th of February, and he's going to launch 4 books. And this is one of the books, authored by Rajiv ji, and the co-author is Vijaya Vishwanathan ji. So I'll just briefly mention about this book. So basically, this book is a part of series that started with the flagship Snakes in the Ganga, Breaking India 2.0, which was released in September 2022. And it focuses on American project led by Harvard University to dismantle the Indian Institutes of Technology and other institutions of excellence in India, by claiming that they propagate structural casteism. So Marxism, postmodernism, and other European intellectual movements of the past 150 years, they have culminated in this current battle against the IITs. So basically, this book shows that the IITs are under attack. There are legal implications of this attack. It has severe consequences for the IITs, its students, faculty, India, and engineering education in general. The consequences of this attack will follow the IIT engineer and other tech professionals to their workplace anywhere in the world. So it's not just about the institute itself. And the Harvard University's woke machinery is behind this attack. And we need to understand the sophistication that backs it. This is very important. This is one of the things that this book talks about. And then this book presents evidence-based rebuttal. And, it is basically a toolkit to tackle these false accusations, of IITians being casteist bigots, some kind of accusation, these kind of accusations they are making. And this book shows how this Western critical race theory is being used to show that IITs and other institutions of excellence in India are oppressive structures designed to propagate the subjugation of Dalits and other marginalized communities by using merit as an inauthentic criterion of success. So according to this view, merit is nothing but caste capital that the upper caste has deviously schemed up to ensure that, they remain in power in society. And these are all, theories coming from Western critical race theory. So that is the mother theory, and all these theories are coming up. And, there are many Harvard scholars like Ajanta Subramaniam who are propagating these ideas. So basically, this is the background of the this Battle for IITs book. And it is going to be released in the World Book Fair on 26th of February. So all of you are most welcome, and we would love to see as many IITians as possible, because this book is about how IITs are under attack, and it's our duty to give a rebuttal to counter this kind of activity which is happening. Yeah, that's it, Raghavji.
Thanks a lot, Anuragji. It presents a very bigger perspective as to what all challenges we would be having in this 25 years coming forward, and how collectively and how integrally we have to fight them across to really create a Bharat of our dreams, because rising up the power spectrum would be really challenging, because these 75 years was one part of the story, but the next leap forward is really going to be challenging, and we would have to really converge together to make it really happen. So again, an ode to Ramakrishna Swamida, who fought very fervently all across for the quality of IIT system, for the integrity of the IIT system. He had a host of ideas. He was the one who produced a lot of blogs and championed the causes around IITs in a phenomenal way. And from this forum, the intense inner transformation would have to now transcend to intense integral transformation. We have to bring together our seats of higher techno-managerial education and how we can really create the futuristic technological platforms and futuristic ideologies, futuristic thought processes, and bring from our parampara, as integral humanism is one such workable model for us, by which we can really affect and influence the entire world as a whole for sthirta, because it's the VUCA era, and how we can bring in sthirta. We'll come to that in one of the commemorations. Moving forward, it's our great good fortune to really felicitate a group, a kind of a platform which has unleashed the An, Akshar, Arogya, Prakriti and Sanskriti Adamya Chetana. I would like to play a small video before I call upon the recipients, Madam Tejaswini Anant Kumar ma'am and her daughter, Madam Aishwarya Anant Kumar ma'am. So I will read the citation once we have seen and played this video. A small tribute to this. Just a moment.
Punya Chetana is inspired by the indomitable spirit of Srimati Girija Shastri, mother of Sri Anand Kumar, Member of Parliament from Bangalore South constituency. What started as a small effort in 1997 has today grown into a mammoth movement, touching the lives of lakhs of school students, poor and underprivileged in society. Adamya Chetana, in partnership with state and central governments through its Annapurna project, is providing nutritious midday meals to over 2 lakh underprivileged and needy students every day in the cities of Bengaluru, Hubballi, Kalaburgi, and Jodhpur in Rajasthan. Pata Pata, Play and Learn, a unique mobile educational resource facility. Arogya Chetana, health insurance scheme for children to take care of their healthcare need. Shikshaka Chetana, To empower school teachers, Chinnara Chetana, an informative monthly wall magazine, are some of the various activities undertaken by Adanya Chetana. Our commitment towards social activism, our holistic approach of Anna, Akshara, Arogya, and commitment towards social activism are manifested in our actions. Mother Nature is most adored at Adanya Chetana. Every single step, every single process at Adanya is in sync with our resolve to preserve the environment. Several initiatives that were started to conserve nature are embedded into our systems. Over 72,000 meals per day and no garbage at the kitchen. Unbelievable. Yes, it is a way of life at Annapurna, Bengaluru. Every day, over 1,000 liters of nutritionally rich starch produced in the process is used in sambar. In the early days, our kitchen generated over 300 kgs of garbage every day. Since 2011, we are generating no garbage. Vegetable peels are used as cattle feed and also as input for compost. The kitchen at Bengaluru started its operations with LPG as fuel, switched over to diesel, and is presently on biofuel. It is over half a decade now since Annapurna is saving nearly 1 lakh liters of diesel and over 12,500 LPG cylinders every year. Renewable non-petroleum briquettes are used as fuel in the biomass stove, which generates steam to cook food. These briquettes are made from organic agricultural waste. A cogeneration plant to produce hot water without additional fuel is in place. Residual coconut shells are used as fuel in a smokeless chula to fry over 250 kgs of masala ingredients. Pellets produced of organic waste are used as fuel for the specially designed stove at Annapurna. No diesel, no LPG, no kerosene makes Annapurna the first 100% fossil-free fuel kitchen in Bengaluru. Reuse, recycle is the mantra at Adanya Chetana. Every day, over 3,000 liters of water that is used to rinse rice is recycled for watering the plants at Lalbagh Botanical Garden. Water used as filter for the soot of biomass stove is recycled to wash the vehicles. Adanya Chetna is one of the first organizations that started harnessing solar power at rooftops. The commissioning of a 5 kilowatt grid-tied rooftop solar power generator has drastically reduced our dependency on external power supply. Wet waste generated at the kitchen is used to produce biogas using kitchen waste-based biogas plant. The biogas generated is used as a fuel for the stove used for various heating purposes. Zero garbage dining, together with zero garbage kitchen, is the need of the hour. Adanya Chetana advocates zero garbage dining. Annapurna Plate Bank stocks more than 10,000 steel plates, spoons, and tumblers, which could be borrowed by organizations, educational institutions, and even individuals for their events. This rent-free plate bank has motivated hundreds of program organizers to go green. The Indian Institute of Science Research suggests that the ideal tree-to-human ratio should be 7:1. Currently, it is just 1:7, affecting an increase in temperature and pollution and decrease in the water table. Sri Anand Kumar has taken an oath to get back the green cover at least to 1:1, which was the ratio 30 years ago in Bangalore. Anantavana is a theme plantation of sacred plants that include Rudraksha, Kadamba, Ashoka, Bilwa, Paravira, and many more. In addition to the various green efforts, Salumara project is also initiated. Thousands of neem and tamarind saplings have been planted along the roadside in Ragihalli village near Bengaluru. Thousands of medicinal, fruit, flowering plants, and vegetable-yielding saplings have been distributed among households. In order to mitigate the hazard of non-organic dry waste, plastic garbage collecting bins have been installed in various locations of Ragihalli. Awareness and sensitization programs to the villagers are conducted in addition to distribution of reusable carry bags. As a part of the Subeksha Grama project, composite toilet and gobar gas plants were built in Sankunatti and Ramatirtha villages, inspired by 165 such combi plants built over 2 years by Adama Chetana. Today, we can see over 15,000 such combi gobar plants that are replicated in the nearby districts of Karnataka and Maharashtra, resulting in the elimination of methane-based pollution significantly in that area. It is a matter of pride that our initiatives have been replicated by several other people and organizations across India. Adanya Chetana is committed to increase the green cover on Mother Earth. Come, join us in transforming Bharat into a green Bharat.
So this is the integral push of environmental conservation in practice at Adamya Chetana. And as we can see that from fuel to water to whatnot, they have championed it in such a phenomenal fashion. In the plastic collection kits, they were all wired ones. You don't need a very strong plastic ones. And so we have Madam Tejaswini Anand Kumar ma'am and her daughter and trustee of Adamya Chetna Trust, Madam Aishwarya Anand Kumar ma'am. So I request her to accept this token tribute from this August forum and speak a few words about this. And I would request Dr. Surbhi to read out the citation as a formal gesture out here. So
this is to recognize Adamya Chetna for its innovative, ingenious, and industrious accomplishment of a 100% sustainable green ecosystem in actual practice across the minutest frontiers of its Annapurna Rasoi, which is truly a pole star exemplifying the indignation notion of circular consumption and conservation of natural resources in action worthy to be emulated across the G20 nations and fulfilling the integral quad of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha.
So over to Aishwarya Anand Kumar ma'am.
Firstly, thank you very much for this very well thought out and a very innovative way in which we are remembering Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji. My parents were greatly inspired by the Antyodaya movement that Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji sort of introduced. And it is with that mission in mind that Adamya Chetana was started in 1998. And sometimes we overestimate the things that we can do in a small period of time, but underestimate the things that one can do over a period of 20 years with a dedication and daily sort of a daily struggle. What you can do over a long period of time is truly big. And that can be seen in what Adamya Chetana has done under the leadership of Tejaswini Anand Kumar ji and of course, and my father Anand Kumar ji. Today, on behalf of the complete staff, volunteers, and trustees of Adamya Chetana, I thank the Rethink India team, Raghavji, Surbhiji, and my request to each one here today is that if ever you're in Bangalore, please come and visit Adamya Chetana. This is something that you can experience, and it will be our pleasure and honor to have you there. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And in as a token tribute, we have chosen the Kritika Nakshatra, who were the nurses of Kartikeya, because this is the nurturing spirit which we felt at Adamya Chetna, and one very specific video, which I would request to all the Nakshatras all the exponents present today is when Madam Tejaswini Anantkumar explains as to how we can avoid microplastics getting generated into the ecosystem. That when we cut up any of the plastic packaging, so don't cut it as at the edge of it all, cut it as a lateral thing so that it remains attached to the larger, I would say, packaging. So very small thought out interventions we can see, we can go deeper, and that's what made Adamya Chetna true exponent of re-engineering, not just India, but G20 as a whole. So pranams to Adamya Chetna's Adamya spirit, and thank you so much for being with us and accepting this to contribute, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Moving forward, as I said that Madam Karuna Gopal is quite a great exponent. And today she published a very elaborate article on as to how integral humanism for a new India can be taken on. I will request. So this is a very lovely piece which encapsulates the entire, I would say, the entire philosophy of integral humanism in contemporary times, and this is what makes Karuna Gopal ma'am a true exponent of re-engineering G20. And I would request Dr. Surbhi to read out her citation to give the context in which we really wish to recognize her esteemed persona.
This is to recognize Madam Karuna Gopal Vartakabiji for your sustained enunciation and elaboration of the futuristic vision of New India, anchored into her civilizational values as expressed in the spirit and substance of your most popular quote, "What the world needs now is not just collaboration, but extreme collaboration, where countries sense the unsaid needs of their partners and reach out, go beyond MOUs, and something which defines and determines the quintessence of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam."
And we saw this very recently when India, without even asking, sent a barrage of aid to Turkey, Turkey and Syria, where all kind of this earthquake ravage happened. And despite the Indian intelligence agencies knowing that Turkey was participating in a military exercise with Pakistan army. So that is the larger Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam spirit. It is not just a motto per se, but it is what India has been living, Sanatan Bharat has been living for ages, on and on. So I request Madam Karuna Gopal to accept this token tribute and also address the forum.
Thank you very much, Raghavji and Surabhiji. It's a pleasure and an honor to receive this recognition. The article has been written 5 years ago, not today. I've just shared it with you because I was so inspired. I was inducted into the Bharatiya Janata Party and later started reading up about the stalwarts the party had, and understood so many things. For instance, the Antyodaya, today, the rise of the last person is nobler than the United Nations definition or call that says, leave no one behind. It's much more nobler, much more thoughtful, much more deeper, I must say. And also one brilliant thought of Deen Dayal ji was that he categorically said that we fought enough for our freedom, but it's time to reach out to the world. So that's really important. And given the context today, the Global South is looking at India to become a unified voice for the Global South. And the G20 presidency as it is, and of course, the way we bailed out Sri Lanka with $2.9 billion is clearly an indication that we are implementing what Panditji was dreaming. There's so much that this country is doing now that perhaps were remained aspirations of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji. So the quote, ma'am, that you read out, I used the platform of World Government Summit in 2018 when there were 7,000 people in the audience with diplomats and ministers from almost 65 countries. I wanted to say it because I thought it's an important thing to really reach out to people. And this was again said 5 years back. So I'm really grateful that quotations are being looked at, work is being looked at by organizations like yours. And certainly we will try to do more. My 30 years of work experience in some way embedded all these principles very silently, not very overtly, but if someone really cares to dig deeper, you will find those elements in my work. So I'm really happy that you saw me as worthy of receiving this. Thank you very much. And also congratulations to all the other stars. Especially, I had the fortune of sitting next to Anant Kumar ji when I addressed the Smart Cities launch at Vigyan Bhavan. I also had the pleasure of sharing stage with Mrs. Anant Kumar when she shared about her NGO that we talked about, and how passionately she explained her commitment to greening the country. So I'm really fortunate to be amidst good people, people with a good heart and noble thoughts. Thank you very much. And I have a commitment now. I might have to leave, and you must forgive me for leaving.
Thanks a lot, Madam. As a mark of respect, Madam has been bestowed upon the Chitra Nakshatra, the bright one, for the brightness what she has brought about to the Indian public discourse, anchored into the civilizational wisdom and looking forward in future. So that is the beauty of it all, that it's a continuum, and that is what is called the Sanatan Bharat, the eternal, the perpetual Bharat. Thank you so much, ma'am.
That is my mother's star, by the way. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Namaste to everyone.
Moving forward, we would like to recognize the contributions of Manushi for emerging as one of the most credible, consistent, and comprehensive voices of Indic civilizational view from multiple vantage points: health, education, gender, law, justice, governance, politics, and other frontiers. So Madam Madhu Purnima Kishwar, the mover and shaker behind Manushi, we would like to bestow this token tribute on the institution called Manushi. And so have we been joined by ma'am? We'll come back again. Yeah. So moving forward, we would also like to bestow this honor, recognition for Reengineering G20 on Dr. Ajay Kumar sir for his extremely good, the kind of performance which India's defense sector. So I would request Dr. Surbi to read out this very elaborate citation in honor of Dr. Ajay Kumar sir, the former defense secretary of the country, who really brought about the vision, who really transformed the vision of Atmanirbharta in the defense sector. Dr. Surbi.
This is to recognize Dr. Ajay Kumar ji for having accentuated the re-engineering of the entire universe of India's defense defense production, unleashing an unprecedented level of self-reliance, Atmanirbharta, resulting into the scaling up of India's defense exports to approximately 13,000 crores with the introduction of modern warfare capabilities and disruptive technologies and innovations, establishment of the IDX initiative to help create a conducive and cost-effective defense startup ecosystem that fosters innovation and technology development, conceptualization of Project 75I to develop next generation submarines and fighters, and most importantly, laying down the groundwork for a future marine and aerospace industrial ecosystem in India, presenting a unique inspirational case story for the G20 officials.
So in such a short period of time, the colossal accomplishment what India has achieved on the defense sector, while being the biggest nation importing defense equipments from all across the country, we have truly become a kind of an Atmanirbhar Bharat, and we are now exporting our defense platforms. So the political vision to be translated into it, it's really a very hard hand-on job, and Dr. Ajay Kumar sir has really displayed that all. I think you'll be joined by him a bit later, but we would really like to present our tribute. And the nakshatra, what we felt allocated to him was the Swati nakshatra, the very good work what he has put upon, and really inspired the entire generations of officers underneath him to really take upon these challenges in this forthcoming Amrit Kal, to really transcend India to a developed nation from all frontiers. Thank you so much. We move on, And we would now like to felicitate yet another lovely organization, the Pehle India Foundation, whose motto is putting India first to make India first. Till very recently, India has been seen, strategized from Western think tanks. Now, this is especially the one policy think tank, and it was founded by our former Niti Aayog Vice Chairperson, Dr. Rajiv Kumar, sir. And I would request Dr. Surbhi to read out the citation for all our participants out here.
Pehle India Foundation, this is to recognize Pehle India Foundation, putting India first to make India first, for having spectacularly lived the mission of putting India first to make India first by carrying out India-specific policy changes, and not just research or recommendations alone, by way of reports, discussion papers, policy briefs, commentaries, analysis, and books noted in Indian ground realities across underworked areas like financial and economic frontiers. Small and medium enterprises, trade, industry, and digital economy, global political economy, and defense economics, energy, environment, and urban sustainability, reaching to the last mile of economic agents, accentuating a trusted dialogue, presenting a unique policy change tank architecture for the G20 emulate. Thank you.
So we have Madam Nirupama Soundararajan ma'am, who is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Pehle India Foundation, to accept this token tribute and also tell us more about the works which are being carried out and very specific India-specific themes what Pehle India Foundation takes about. And the classic part is to really being an activist kind of a think tank, which says that we have to bring about the policy changes and not just the research and recommendations alone. So this is quite very special. And the nakshatra which we could allocate to them was the Mrigashirsh, the spearheader of it all. So that is what Pehle India is actually doing. So over to Madam Nirupama Soundararajan ma'am.
Thank you very much for this prestigious award. We're truly honored. It's been a very interesting journey for Pehle India Foundation. In April this year, we will turn 10 years, so it's been a decade for us. And a lot of our policy work has been, as our motto correctly says, putting India first to make India first. So it is keeping India's well-being in mind and making sure that we deliver good research, data-backed research, research based on ground realities for what is best suited for India. In the citation, you were very kind enough to read some of the areas of our work. As a think tank, we have focused on areas that have otherwise not really been brought under the ambit of policy research. MSMEs is certainly one of it. We've done some incredible amount of work around gold. We're currently working on online gaming. We're looking at Digital India. We're looking at the interface of digital with other sectors and what kind of value addition it can bring. We've done significant amount of work around ease of doing business, where we've also advocated for ease of doing business to be made state-wise and sector-wise rather than looking at it, be made sector-wise rather than looking at it purely state-wise, because each sector has its own set of problems which are unique to it. So this is some of the work we've done. The focus has always been on building consensus. We understand that in India, for every correct opinion, there is an equally opposite correct opinion that exists. And as a think tank with data, our responsibility is to build that consensus so that we can move together and we can move forward. And part of that is engaging with multiple stakeholders, including policymakers, and to ensure that whatever research we do is in language that is understandable for the common person, and recommendations that we make are implementable. So they're not in the air, they're not 30,000 feet above, but they're absolutely implementable recommendations. And we're incredibly proud to also say that many of our recommendations have seen fruition and have actually come into existence. So keeping that in mind, and our next decade, at the start of our next decade, we're truly hopeful that we can continue to make a difference for India and by putting India first. And we do thank you very much for recognizing our work and giving us this award. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am, for keeping the spirit of India first altogether in the name itself. So this is truly honor for the whole. So now we move on to yet another mover and shaker, जिन्होंने भारत की उद्यमिता को, the untapped potential of India's entrepreneurial energy, and the architect of so many, I would say, special India-specific platforms, Anil Agrawal sir. I request Dr. Surbi to read out his citation first, and then.
This is to recognize Anil Agrawal sir for having architected an integral and innovative compact catapulting the Startup India movement, comprising of catalyzing innumerable interdepartmental regulatory reforms, creating a nationwide capacity building program through ranking of states on support to startup ecosystems, conceiving of national startup awards, commissioning of the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, curating the Startup Champions Show for promoting startups, constitution of National Startup Advisory Council, consolidating the Startup India, the way ahead strategy plan, along with the immaculate implementation of the production-linked incentive UPID scheme, PLI scheme for
white goods,
presenting the quintessential Indian approach of Arthik Atmanirbharta for the entire G20 to learn and emulate.
I would now, before I request Anil Agrawal sir, I would also request one of our patrons and associates, Aurobindo Saxena sir, to really give his observations about the kind of sea change. He has been an observer of the whole industry, the startup ecosystem. So as an expert, what kind of change he has witnessed as a part of the, I would say, hidden work going beneath the layers of this official system that would add upon to this citation being presented to Anil Agrawal sir. Aurobindo sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, Raghav, and thank you, Surbi ji, for giving me this opportunity to share a few words about the work which Mr. Agrawal has been doing. We are a young nation. I think everyone knows it. And in the last few months, we have all been seeing that, the world economy is going through a recessionary trend. And there are very few companies which are hiring. So as a country with probably the largest population in the world, I think it makes sense to reignite the passion that people have towards entrepreneurship and giving them opportunities and support as an ecosystem, which also exists in some of the other countries. So I think the work which Agrawal ji has done, I think it's really phenomenal. And the kind of unicorns and the sunicorns that we are seeing these days and the kind of funding that we are seeing happening, it's quite unforeseen, so this is the right timing. And my heartiest congratulations to Agrawal ji for leading this wonderful initiative for the country.
So he has truly emerged as the Pushya Nakshatra, the nourisher of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the country. I would request Anil sir to accept this token tribute and also address the forum. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Raghav ji, Surbi ji, the Rethink India Foundation, and all the esteemed guests in this gathering. It's truly humbling, to be part of this star-studded gathering and to be seen oneself has been conferred upon a very, very important recognition. I most humbly accept this as a recognition of this new innovative entrepreneurial nation, which is now setting standards actually for the world. I recall when we started this Startup India mission in 2017, when it was I was given this responsibility. Not many people understood what a startup was. Even in Government of India, very few people understood what a startup was. And similarly, there was no appreciation for startups, the innovation and the entrepreneurship across different states. Now, that was the challenge, and that was the situation from where we had started. Over a period of time, with various efforts, we've built this brick by brick. And the result is that today out of 36 states and UTs, we have 31 states and UTs which have stated policies for supporting startups in their own jurisdictions. There is so much of awareness and capacity building has been done over a period of time in a very systematic and institutional manner. These are the officers and various ecosystem members which have been helping, assisting startups build their new enterprises. Startup awards have been actually a great barometer to identify and pinpoint the kind of innovation that is thriving in this country. We believe that innovation was only centered around few metros or few places, but when we map the entire country, now we see that in every district, in every state and UT, we have at least one startup. Out of 730 odd districts, more than 660 districts at least has one startup. 45% of today's India startup are coming from tier 2 and tier 3. And if we look at the quality of startups which are coming in from here, when we do a very rigorous effort in terms of national startup awards, we see that tier 2 and tier 3 has a representation of roughly 1/3 in the national awards that are coming up. These are all young boys and girls of this country who are not just solving problems of this country, but there are potential for their solutions to be implemented globally. And this is what, over a period of time, Startup India has been able to achieve. We are also, based on India's proposal, during India's presidency of G20, a Startup 20 engagement group has been institutionalized in the G20 agenda. And this engagement group aims to create a global narrative for supporting startups and enabling synergies between startups, investors, corporates, academia, innovators, and other startup ecosystem stakeholders. There are 3 verticals that have been created. One is on foundations and alliances on how you create a startup ecosystem. Second is on finance, how to fund these startups. And finally, on inclusion and sustainability, which is also important. And in India's case, 45% of our startups have at least one woman as a director. So that is the kind of inclusion that we have been able to achieve. Apart from this, we are also showing the way to the world in terms of our open network for digital commerce, which is actually something the world is looking at in terms of a democratic e-marketplace. I am extremely humbled by conferring of this award on me. And I thank Rethink India Foundation and all the esteemed members for this. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, sir, for such a spectacular, I would say, creation of the whole startup movement in such a very short time of 5 short years. And every dimension of it is so very exciting and attractive. And sir is known for looking at very, very minute aspects of design, architecting a system. And for all of us who don't know, he's also the architect of the legendary UP100, which is now known as the UP112, the emergency response system. And if you go deeper into the design philosophy, the design outcomes over there, it's truly, I would say, mind-boggling out there. It's not the time to go into that, but that is what is Anil Agrawal sir all about, that in 5 short years, he has brought India on the global startup map by his unique thinking and dogged action. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us and accepting this token tribute out here. Moving forward, we have an energypreneur with us, the Bhishma Pitama, as we can all say, in the EV industry, the electrical mobility space, and what we are recognizing, Dr. Dev Mukherjee, is for a very, very specific vision of his. And if that vision, like that of Adamya Chetana and others as well, the vision what he shared with us and the kind of passion with which he carries it forward is his astounding commitment to leverage the unfold power of commercial EVs to empower the agency of the bottom of the pyramid, street hawkers, something worth emulating and institutionalizing across the G20. Dr. Mukherjee talks about making the hawkers, making the rediwalas on EV vehicles, mounting them on commercial EVs and making them as walking supermarkets. One in all, you can have deep refrigeration over there, you can sell ice creams over there, and at doorsteps, you can have the supermarkets out there. So this is the philosophy, the principle of Antyodaya of Panditji, what Dr. Dev Mukherjee is really propounding and championing across the emerging industry of EV. And one other aspect what Dr. Mukherjee takes about, that EV is one such industry which is a futuristic one, but which is still hosted in the MSME space. So if in some way the policy regulation can protect it, the furtherance of MSMEs and startups is quite intertwined, as Anil sir talked about as well. But if we can protect this futuristic industry into the MSME space as well, that would be really terrific over there. I request Dr. Mukherjee to accept this token tribute and also address the forum.
Thank you very much, Raghavji, Surbhiji. It's an honor to be part of this August gathering and receiving this recognition. I am really humbled by this. ये ईवी का जो एक मुहिम जो हमने शुरू करी, अभी 5 साल हो गए इसको, और जब मैं ऑटोमोटिव इंडस्ट्री से आता हूँ, करीब 40 साल हो गए मुझे इस इंडस्ट्री में, तो हमने देखा कि जब ईवी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स शुरू हुई इंडिया में आना, तो सब लो एंड चाइना इंपोर्ट वाला एक बिजनेस मॉडल शुरू हुआ। तो हमारा शुरू से यही था कि जो भी हम करेंगे हम इंडिया में ही बनाएंगे। और हम तो मारुति सुजुकी को ही 40 साल हो गए, उससे पहले भी एम्बेसडर और वो बनती थी गाड़ियां। तो ऐसा क्या है कि हमें एक चाइना डिपेंडेंट मॉडल लेके चलना है हमें, कि सारी किट आप वहां से मंगाइए और यहाँ पे सिर्फ पैक करके और आगे मार्केट में दे दीजिए। सो वो एक हमारा मोटिवेशन था कि जो हम करेंगे हम यही करेंगे, हिंदुस्तान में ही सारा कुछ बनाएंगे। और मैं बड़ा इस चीज को, मतलब अपार्ट फ्रॉम अदर थिंग्स, आई एम वेरी प्राउड ऑफ द फैक्ट दैट यू नो whatever we have done, whatever little bit I have achieved, we have achieved in this journey, is that we are able to manufacture completely in India, and this is designed in India, built in India and for India. तो ये दूसरा जो है हमारा मोटिवेशन ये था कि EV can be not only just a mode of transportation, but it is a very large vehicle of social change. It can be a very big मैं इसको एक सामाजिक एक चेतना की तरफ, एक मूवमेंट की तरफ मानता हूँ इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल को, कि जो हम एक छोटे शहरों में, कस्बों में, शहर में, मैं एक बहुत छोटी सी जगह से आता हूँ, मेरा बचपन जो है एक बहुत मतलब एक यू नो अनप्रिविलेज्ड कहें या निर्धन कहें, मैं उस तरीके से मेरा बचपन गुजरा। तो मैंने देखा है इसको करीब से, और मुझे आई नो दैट यू नो व्हाट दैट large section of the society misses, and where technology can play a major role in this whole social change, and this is what we are trying to bring. For example, अभी भी देश में करीब 30 लाख रिक्शा चलते हैं, मतलब कोई एक्यूरेट फिगर नहीं है, बट ये एस्टिमेटेड नंबर है। तो उनकी जो जीविका है वो एक इसी पे चलती है कि वो 3-4 घंटे अपना चलाते हैं और करीब 200-300 रुपए कमाते हैं। तो ये आई थिंक दिस इज वेयर दिस इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल, इलेक्ट्रिक ई रिक्शा कैन मेक ए डिफरेंस। इसको कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव बना के और इसको अफोर्डेबल बना के, तो उनकी जो जीविका जो है, वो आजीविका, वो 200-300 रुपए से वो 500-600 रुपए तक बढ़ सकती है, डबल हो सकती है, विच मेक्स अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ डिफरेंस to that section of the society. तो ये this is what is electric vehicle, not that somebody is buying a 80 lakh car, electric car of Mercedes and all. Okay, वो उनका अलग सेक्शन है, मुझे उसमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं है। लेकिन मैं जो ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस टेक्नोलॉजी से, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल से एक बहुत बड़ा एक सोशल चेंज लाया जा सकता है। इसमें बहुत सारी जॉब्स क्रिएट हो रही हैं। हम इसको नॉन ऑटोमोटिव जो सेंटर्स हैं, जो दिल्ली, एनसीआर, पूना, चेन्नई, गुजरात, इनको छोड़ के हम जो दूसरे जो स्टेट्स हैं, राज्य हैं, जो इस मुहिम का, ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री का कभी हिस्सा नहीं बने, हम उनको वहां लेके जा रहे हैं, हम वहां पे फैक्ट्री सेटअप कर रहे हैं। दोज आर स्मॉल फैक्ट्री, माइक्रो फैक्ट्री कॉन्सेप्ट है ये, और हम एम्पावर कर रहे हैं। और एक तरीके से ये एक राष्ट्र निर्माण का एक प्रयास है, और एक हमारा हम तो एक बहुत छोटा सा एक प्रयास कर रहे हैं। मैं चाहूंगा कि इसमें और भी लोग जुड़े, और इस प्रकार से जो एक इमारत बने, तो उसमें हम तो एक छोटी सी एक ईंट लगा रहे हैं, उसमें एक छोटा सा हमारा प्रयास है। सो थैंक यू सो मच राघव जी, थैंक यू सो मच रीथिंक इंडिया। आई एम रियली blessed and honored to be part of this group.
So Dr. Mukherjee is the Purva Ashad Nakshatra, the first of the Ashad, the invincible one. And सौभाग्य की बात यह है कि आज ही के दिन खबर आई है कि जम्मू कश्मीर के रियाज जिले में हमें लिथियम के बड़े भारी रिजर्व्स मिले हैं। तो फ्यूचरिस्टिक एनर्जी के इस ईवी को जो फ्यूल करेगी, लिथियम आयन बैटरीज, so we are marching towards that mineral resources as well. So it's providence, it's serendipity perhaps in this Amrit Kal out there. Thanks a lot, Dr. Mukherjee, and your vision, I think it will really take through. We have such a eminent galaxy out here. So आपका ये जो विजन और मिशन है, क्योंकि 80 लाख की टेस्ला की जो कार है ईवी की, वो दैट्स ऑन द अदर एक्सट्रीम ऑफ इट ऑल। बट मेट्रो से जब नीचे उतरते हैं और एक रिक्शे वाला जिसको पायधुली से रिक्शा नहीं चलाना पड़ता, उसको डिग्निटी ऑफ लेबर मिला है, I think that is the real power of EV, and EV should be declared in some fashion or the other. I can request Anil Agrawal sir and others as well, Paheli India Foundation and others, that somehow or the other we can protect this industry into the MSME space in some way or the other, because billions and zillions of dollars kind of investments coming in, that was probably not Deen Dayal ji's vision, and integral humanism meant कि survival of the weakest. तो वास्तव में डॉक्टर मुखर्जी की जो सोच है कि कैसे हम जो वीकेस्ट है, अंतिम पंक्ति पे जो खड़ा हुआ है, उसको कैसे हम फ्यूचरिस्टिक टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ जोड़कर और कैसे हम उसका एम्पावरमेंट कर सकते हैं, एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी रियली थैंक डॉक्टर मुखर्जी फॉर दैट विजन एंड समथिंग व्हिच ही हैज बीन ट्रम्पेटिंग अक्रॉस प्लेटफॉर्म्स. थैंक यू सो मच सर. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, वी वुड नाउ लाइक कि अभी तो हमने बात की स्टार्टअप्स की, पर कुछ कंपनियां ऐसी हैं जो अपने 3 दशक होने के बाद भी उसी स्टार्टअप की ही उत्साह से, उसी की ऊर्जा से वो चलती हैं. एंड वी हैव द ग्रेट गुड फॉर्चून टू फेलिसिटेट one of the, I would say, bellwethers of India's IT industry. We know about some of the other names, but Nucleus Software is one such name, which is which has been a kind of India's product company from its very inception. And it's
to recognize Nucleus Software for creating.
Let me request Vishnu Dusad sir, he has joined us to come in. So please open up your camera so that we can read out the citation in your esteemed presence. Vishnu Dusad sir. Yeah. So we would like to confer upon Nucleus Software the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay recognition for Reengineering G20 for creating and sustaining for 3 momentous decades a critical compact of Indian intellectual property in fintech, which has been wholly designed, architected, and built on Indian soil, innovating within compliance to regulatory boundaries, living up to the declared corporate value of integrity, powering the lending and transactional banking of over 200 financial institutions spread across 50 countries, including the G20, with over 75% of all Indian retail loans originating, serviced, or collected using the same, truly accomplishing the ideal of Atmanirbhar Bharat when it comes to the Indian fintech sector. So this is the legendary Nucleus Software, which is the Bharani Nakshatra, the bearer of it all. And I really request Vishnu Dusad sir to please accept this token tribute and also address the forum. Sir.
Thank you so very much. Rethink India Foundation and Raghav and Dr. Surabhi. This is really an honor to be recognized in the manner that you have included Nucleus's name in amongst the 27 nakshatras. We have been certainly making a feeble attempt to make the country Atmanirbhar. We've always wanted to make sure that the cyber coolies tag that was attached to our IT industry in late 80s and early 90s, that goes away. And it was with that intent that we started this journey. And we didn't realize that it would bring us here. It is my 1,800 colleagues who have made sure that we continue to deliver value to all our customers, and it is our very prestigious board of directors which keeps guiding us to stay on course in the direction of making sure that 3,650% rate of interest that the person at the bottom of the pyramid has to pay, that comes to some reasonable level. We all know that if someone were to borrow 100 rupees in the morning, he has to pay 110 rupees by the end of the day. And that adds up to 3,650, completely unbelievable number. And that is what we feel that we can play a role in. So our vision is to make financial services access easy and enriching worldwide. And it is certainly, we can play a role, and we are already playing a role in G20 countries. We as a nation can add immense value to all the populations in G20 countries through our technology, and by creating technologies which can solve these fundamental problems. So with those words, I would like to thank Rethink India Foundation once again on behalf of my 1,800 colleagues and our board of directors, and would look forward to many more such initiatives by Rethink India Foundation in getting back to our glory that we had, for a few millennia. This is a step in absolutely the right direction. Thank you so much once again.
Thanks a lot, sir. And I would like to mention once more that the nucleus of nucleus software lies in its, I would say, the fetish for integrity. The persona of Vishnu sir is all about integrity, and he takes it very much on his personal mission that integrity remains the buzzword across the architecture, across the entire software lifecycle, because technological development is one part of it all, but then developing with the burden of integrity, anchored into integrity, is something which makes nucleus software truly unique and an exemplar of, I would say, integral humanism, which it really lives and leads by in its development offices. Thanks so much, sir, for being with us and accepting this token tribute. Moving forward, जब हम समृद्धि की बात करते हैं, जब हम आज एक अलग लेवल पे we are talking about making India a 5 trillion economy, and that kind of narratives are being unleashed. A lot of innovative ideas are being looked upon. We have I would say an arts graduate who has graduated to the domain of technology and philosophized a phenomenal, I would say, a framework for futuristic monetary prosperity in the country. I would like to invite Sunil Agrawal sir. Sunil Agrawal sir, you're with us? Yeah, sir. So I will just highlight you and then read your citation, because this was so very enthusing, that the kind of, I would say, passion and dedication, and he would talk you कि भारतीय परंपरा की बातें तो बहुत लोग करते हैं, बहुत हम अपने पास्ट में जाके अपने फ्रेमवर्क्स के बारे में, we have a lot of pride over there, but उस पास्ट को फ्यूचर में प्रोजेक्ट करके और कंटेम्पोररी टाइम्स की प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करने का अगर कोई इस अधुनातन समय में कोई फ्रेमवर्क अगर मिलता है, वो सुनील अग्रवाल सर का OCSC फ्रेमवर्क है, बड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नाम है जो अनिल अग्रवाल सर ने ONDC की बात कही. So let me read out the citation first. We would like to confer upon this prestigious honor on Sunil Agrawal sir for having proposed an elaborate technology-driven futuristic monetary framework, namely OCSC, entailing the establishment of plurality of currency based on data, land, gold, and local care, and creation of multiple settlement systems anchored into the sovereign elected bodies, drawing immensely from the Indian tradition of Godhan, Gajdhan, Vajidhan, or Ratandhan Khan. Our philosophers went a bit aage ki jab aave santosh dhan sab dhan dhuri saman, but Sunil Agrawal sir stopped over there and he created this lovely framework of OCSC which needs at least 1.5 hours to understand the philosophical premise of it, and all based on the blockchain technology, the futuristic frontiers of technology into which the world is moving forward, and her historical propensity based on the same, presenting a unique sthir model. आज जो stock market based prosperity है, it's very volatile, and what Sunil Agrawal sir has presented, this OCSC model, is a very stable one, and the agency is going back to the elected bodies, the regulatory bodies which are finding it difficult कि हमारी तो agency ही उड़ी जा रही है इस fourth industrial revolution के cusp पर. So this is what we would like to recognize Sunil Agrawal sir from this forum, and we have alluded the nakshatra of Magha, the bountiful. Sunil Agrawal sir जब बोलते हैं कि भाई पैसा इतना है कि कोई कमी नहीं आने वाली है, डेटा का पैसा है, लैंड का पैसा है, गोल्ड का पैसा है, लोकल केयर. So the history of money, if we can listen to him, his elaborate lectures, it's mind-boggling, mind-opening. So with all this, we would like to really pay our humble tributes to Sunil Agrawal sir, and over to him to address the forum. So,
thank you, Raghavji and Surbhiji and Rethink India Foundation. I'm truly humbled with this recognition. See, the idea behind this OCSC framework is very simple. If we go back to pre-colonial India, India controlled more than 30% of global GDP, not for 100, not for 200, rather 2000 years. So what was so great about India in pre-British period? And the primary reason was the idea of money that India had. And that idea of money was based upon plurality of currencies and multiplicity of payment settlement mechanisms, which I mean to say, there were multiple currencies. For example, gold and silver coins were definitely the currency, but along with that, Godhan, Ashwadhan, Ajdhan, like your sheep and goats, Vidyadhan, raw material, waste material, all these were considered as forms of currencies, and they were ecologically embedded currencies. And the beauty was that 80% of these currencies were actually controlled by women folk. So in that sense, women were deeply empowered in a world where plurality of currencies were there. Now, what I'm saying here is that the same idea of plurality of currencies can be embedded in India's future, because what India is living on in terms of monetary stack, that stack is what I call lender of the last resort. There is a supreme body at the top which prints money, and it is lender of the last resort, but it is lender of the last resort only inside India. Outside, it has to remain a colonial slave to dollar. So what I'm trying to say here is that the time has come from moving to lender of last resort consensus to a asset and service based monetary standard. And here I am proposing that data, which is consumed by 1 billion Indians, then land, then gold, and then care provided by local population at the home level, at the school level, at the primary healthcare center level, this can be converted into currencies. So if we are able to do this, then India would be able to build a ledger system which can be adopted not only inside India, but outside India. In that sense, instead of building one institution, we can build hundreds of millions of peer-to-peer networks, which means if somebody from Africa can trade with somebody in India, then this is very much possible. So instead of a bank-driven ledger system, let's build a peer-to-peer network-driven ledger system. And that's where blockchain is going to be the fundamental choice. So this is the broad idea. And I hope that this idea will reach out to far corners of India as well as world. And I thank again Rethink India Foundation for recognizing this idea of mine. Thank you.
Thanks so much, sir, for really coming out with this fabulous survival of the weakest idea, and which can really make India a truly prosperous nation moving forward. We would now like to felicitate a very young and a dynamic thinker who has been differentiating on a philosophical level and advocating it in a phenomenal fashion about distinguishing sampada from sampatti. Sampada, as Vivekanand ji is with us, I would request him to open up his camera. From Bhagalpur, he has joined in, Vivekanand ji. Yeah. Yes. So there's some technical glitch. He's not getting our audio perhaps. So Vivekanand ji has expanded sampada as contrasted to sampatti, as a selfless and sisterhood, affectionate towards others, moral strength, purity in thought, awareness of self, and determined in action, affluent so as to help others. So that is the notion of sampada, which he has been furthering as distinctive from the prevalent notion of sampatti, which is all about sensuously dirty, apathetic, mad for money, arrogant, torturing others, treacherous, immune to the plight of others. And this is what is aimed at inducing sthirta, stability in the contemporary VUCA world, including the G20. So this is what we wish to recognize Vivekanand ji, the convener of Sampada Group, and the nakshatra which has been accorded to him is the Revati, the prosperous one. So the notion of prosperity at a very, very philosophical level, and a young mechanical engineer from Bhagalpur, he has been carrying forward a bigger community in this framework. Maybe he joins in on video. We will just come back to him the moment it happens. So we move forward. And we would now like to felicitate the jewel in the crown of India's Gurukulas. हम लोग तक्षशिला नालंदा की बातें तो करते हैं, but जो ancient गुरुकुलास हमारे यहाँ रहे हैं, और जिस गुरुकुल की जो स्थिति है, जो कि it has been contemporary with the Indian independence. We would like to felicitate the legendary Birla Vidya Mandir situated at Nainital for its sustained striving of 75 years and counting, in close conjunction with the Indian national independence, being a public school of eminence for the new generation of India, instilling the love for the motherland and her heritage, constituting the bedrock of modern education imparted with the devotion and parental care of the Gurukuls of ancient India, firmly grouted into the quad of Dharma, Arth, Kam, and Moksha, presenting a role model for the entire spectrum of G20 nations to emulate and take inspiration from, as to how the partnership between an ardent philanthropist in G.D. Birla Sahab and an inspirational political figure in Pandit Govind Vallabh Pant resulted in the creation of a mesmerizing seat of futuristic education just at the dawn of national independence. PPP की बातें तो policy sectors में बहुत होती हैं. Perhaps at the dawn of India's independence, this was one of the very enigmatic PPP which happened and which has been really guiding the entire Gurukula movement of the country. I would request the Honorable Principal of the Birla Vidya Mandir, the Rohini Nakshatra, the red one, to accept this token tribute and address the forum. Over to Anil Sharma, sir, and we request him to address.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm really thankful to Rethink India for having conferred this prestigious award recognition to Birla Vidya Mandir, Nainital. If we talk about the campus is 153 years old, and the school was started by Britishers, and the campus has housed 4 schools, started with Oak Opening High School, followed by Flinders Smith College, followed by the Hele War School during the Second World War time. And when the Britishers were leaving, then the brainchild of Pandit Govind Vallabh Pant, Mahatma Gandhi ji, who were very close associate of G.D. Birla ji. G.D. Birla ji financed this project, and that is how this great institution took the seat of Birla Vidya Mandir. And right from 1947, the school has been imparting the quality education. We believe in the all-round development of the school. We have all the modern facilities, but still we follow that Gurukul system. And we are proud to be continuing with that good old system of Gurukul. And I'm really blessed to have served this institution for past 19 years. And I'm really grateful once again to Rethink Engineering for conferring this honorable award. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. It's really our privilege to have you on this forum, and we hope that Birla Vidya Mandir keeps on expanding the envelope of excellence, what it has for the last 75 years for the next epoch as well. And we are marching hand to hand with the country's independence. This is quite so very elating for us. Moving forward, we would now like to felicitate, I think we have been, I will just move to this section a bit later. We would now like to felicitate a very special learning platform, a learning institution in the hills of Mussoorie, right close to the place where the Indian Administrative Service officers are trained into. We would like to recognize the Society for Integrated Development of Himalayas, acronymed as SIDH. So Siddhon ki is bhumi mein, which has been accorded the title of the Shravan Nakshatra, for having catalyzed and championed a comprehensive and integral conversation interspersing the philosophical precepts of Bharatiyata, encompassing the disciplines of Ganita, Vigyan, Shiksha, Arthashastra, Itihas, Sangeet, Nritya, Kala, Karigari, Nirmiti, Ayurveda, Krishi Vigyan, Saundarya Drashti, Akhada, thereby presenting a unique applied framework for resuscitating the fundamentals of Indian traditions based on eternal existential truth in harmony with the way existence is, as contrasted to modernity, which imposes its own unnatural order on this existential order, causing conflict at the individual and societal levels. Something so very vital for the G20 nations assembled under the leadership of India to comprehend the inherent nuance of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So हम लोग पवन जी से श्रवण करना चाहेंगे इसके विषय में, और I would request him to accept this token tribute and also address this forum. Sir.
सबसे पहले रीथिंक राघव और सुरभि को आभार कि 27 से 28 नक्षत्र कर दिए, शायद 28वां मैं हूं, पर आभार आपको। और इन दोनों से बहुत पुरानी पहचान है, बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं। मैं पिछले 35 साल से शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में हूं, और मेरी जो समझ बनी है वो ये, जो मैं संक्षेप में आपके सबके सामने रखना चाहता हूं, कि हमारी देश का सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम जो है वो है साइकोलॉजिकल है। हम पिछले 1001 साल की गुलामी में, पहले इस्लामिक गुलामी और उसके बाद अंग्रेजों की गुलामी, इस दौरान हमारे एक ऐसा घाव लगा है जिसको नॉयपॉल साहब कहते थे अ वुंडेड सिविलाइजेशन। तो मैं उनके इस वाक्य से पूरी तरह अपने आप को आत्मसात करता हूं। मुझे लगता है कि ये ही सबसे बड़ा इशू है। अगर इसकी हीलिंग हो जाए, इसकी पहचान पहले हो और फिर इसकी हीलिंग हो जाए, तो हम लोग अपने आप स्वतः स्फूर्त ढंग से इस देश की सभ्यतागत ताकत के साथ अलाइन होकर के आगे बढ़ पाएंगे। तो मैंने गिरते पड़ते, क्योंकि मैं कोई एक्सपर्ट नहीं, कोई विशेषज्ञ नहीं, मैंने तो काम करते करते कुछ समझ आई, और आज मैं इसी में लगा हूं कि किसी तरह से इस पीड़ा की, इस घाव की पहचान हो और उस पर उसका उपचार हो। इतना ही मैं करने का प्रयास कर रहा हूं। धन्यवाद।
Thanks a lot, sir. I think Vivekanand ji. Okay. So now we move on to yet another young and dynamic lawyer. और कई बार जब बाल अधिकारों की बात इस देश में होती है तो लगता है कि शायद हम कोई पाश्चात्य संस्कृति से प्रभावित होकर ये बात कहने जा रहे हैं, पर अनंत अस्थाना जो कि एक बड़ी ही मुखर और प्रखर चाइल्ड राइट एक्टिविस्ट के रूप में उभरे हैं, और उन्होंने भारतीयता के परिप्रेक्ष्य में बाल अधिकारों को जोड़ने का एक अभिनव प्रयास किया है। We would like to confer upon Anant ji. Can you please open up your camera so that we can? Yeah, he is here with us. Yes. Please spotlight. Yes. So I would request Dr. Surbhi to read out the citation of Anant Asthana ji.
This is to recognize Anant Asthana ji for having championed the cause of child rights in the modern constitutional framework of India, while linking it adroitly to the civilizational undercurrents pertaining to the same, presenting a unique, blended and balanced integral framework for the entire G20 to learn from.
So इनको आश्लेषा जो नक्षत्र है, the embrace, तो अनंत जी ने बाल अधिकारों को अपना जीवन भर का एक एम्ब्रेस प्रदान किया है. We would like to hear, first of all, request him to accept this token tribute और थोड़ा सा अपनी यात्रा के बारे में, और जो ये nuanced part है, the Western child rights and the comprehensive integral Indian framework of child rights, उससे भी हमें अनुग्रहित करें. अनंत अस्थाना जी.
Namaste Raghav bhai, namaste Surbhi ji, and namaste to all those who are present. I feel really honored and grateful that Rethink India has found my 15 years of public work on law, justice, and policy on children's rights worthy of a recognition in the name of Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay, who is proponent of Antyodaya, which is something without me knowing much about Antyodaya, I actually practice in my own work when I try to break down the monopoly of few elites and individuals who control knowledge, legal institutions, law, and I try to decentralize power of these very potent tools to bring its power and access to it to people living in towns, villages, non-English speaking Indian citizenry, underprivileged class of society, because it's my firm belief that their lives matter and they are the one who will shape the destiny of our country, and what they do, what they believe, what they know, what are their capacities will also shape the quality of life of Indian people. And that is where my efforts have been focused in past 15 years. My work is primarily focused on children's rights, and conferment of this recognition by Rethink India in the name of great visionary Pandit Deen Upadhyay gives me strength, support, and I'll continue to carry it forward with all my time, strength, capacity, and outreach. I want to thank all of you who have taken out time to witness this recognition. And Raghav Bhai has asked me to also speak about what exactly I do. So I'll just take few moments more and tell the exact nature of my work. I engage with law inside the courts and outside the courts. Inside the courts, I practice law, I defend children, I defend organizations who work on children, I represent institutions, I represent statutory bodies, I represent legal services authorities on issues which relate to children. Outside court, I teach, and that is where my major work is, because teaching law requires a perspective that the teaching has to translate into access of a large number of people. And as our common experience tells us that the access to law is restricted, people do not want to engage with law. So when I teach those who practice, those who have duty to enforce laws. I teach in a way that makes law meaningful. And that is my way of making the law accessible, making the law comprehensible, making law and legal affairs easy for everybody to connect. And I believe that more and more people need to connect with these processes. And that is the only way to democratize the law, justice, and policy in true sense. This is majorly in the field of children's rights, legal aid, court craft, lawyering. Once again, I thank Rethink India for conferring this award on me. It means a lot to me. Thank you and namaste to all of you.
Thanks, Anand Bhai, and we hope your work goes on guiding and really creating a safe and a very empowered ecosystem for the children. And as you very often quote, that Shri Krishna was perhaps the first child right activist in the country. And so we will have a further session on that. And this is what is quite elating to learn about Anantji's work over there. Moving forward, coming to the child rights space, to the entrepreneurial space, we would like to confer upon Mukesh Pathak ji. Very lovingly, he's called as Faba. Faba for, I would just read out his citation. Mukesh ji, if you're there, you can please start your video. Mukesh Pathak ji, yeah, we have him. Just a moment, I will make him spotlight. Yes. So we would like to recognize Mukesh Pathak ji for having shown the way of Swadeshi Bharatiya Atmanirbharta by integrating the profound wisdom and discernment of pure raw honey. The discernment goes in the Purushartha of Moksha, advocating and defending the same at all forums without getting compromised, which is dharma. He goes on to defend and to question the definitions of the FSSAI regarding the characterization of raw honey and rice syrup, mixed honey. So that is the dharma role which he takes up, creating an elaborate enterprise to make this raw honey accessible and available to one and all desirous of the same. So he's fulfilling kamanas out here and professionally processing the craft of raw honey with most modern techniques and innovating allied products. So this is the artha, purushartha, which he gets into. So this is the integral quad which Mukesh Pathak ji leads at Faba Honey, the most, I would say, elating honey, the raw honey. And as in the photograph, he chose out of all a photograph where he's wearing a wheel to protect himself from the bees to sting over here. And the Purva Bhadrapad Nakshatra, the first of the blessed feet. So we would like to pay this tribute to Mukesh Pathak ji in the name of Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji. And I will request him to accept this token tribute and also address the forum.
धन्यवाद भाई राघव जी, डॉक्टर सुरभि जी, रीथिंक इंडिया और हमारे साथ बाकी के 27-28 नक्षत्र भी, आप सबका भी अभिनंदन है। जैसा कि राघव जी ने बताया, मैं बेसिकली मधुमक्खी पालन का काम करता हूँ। मैं इसे यही बताने में प्रसन्नता जाहिर करता हूँ कि मैं एक बी कीपर हूँ और शहद और ये सब चीजें उसके बाद आ जाती हैं, क्योंकि मधुमक्खी का जब ध्यान आता है तो हम सबको शहद का ही याद आता है। लेकिन जो थोड़ा बहुत स्टडी कर लेंगे तो वो समझेंगे कि उसका सबसे बड़ा काम है पॉलिनेशन। अगर मधुमक्खी पॉलिनेशन ना करे, और ये एक बहुत चर्चित वक्तव्य है आइंस्टाइन का कि 4 बरस के बाद, मधुमक्खी की समाप्ति के 4 बरस के बाद पृथ्वी का फूड चेन खत्म हो जाएगा और हम सब भी एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाएंगे। तो मुझे अभी भी ये लगता है कि असली कॉज तो वही है कि हम मधुमक्खी पालते हैं, क्योंकि वो 80% पॉलिनेशन का भार अपने कंधों पे उठाती है। पूरे विश्व में जो पॉलिनेशन होता है उसका 80% ये मधुमक्खियां करती हैं। तो पहली तो वो एक अनसंग चीज है जिसको शायद हम लोग ध्यान नहीं देते और जिसकी वजह से हम लोग जिंदा हैं। तो एक तो ये है। दूसरा, जब हमें पता चला कि दरअसल हम लोग, चाहे बड़ी कंपनी हो चाहे छोटी कंपनी हो, शहद में हम लोग सिरप पी रहे हैं और धीरे धीरे एफएसएसआई जो हमारी एक संस्था है जो तय करती है कि स्टैंडर्ड क्या होगा जो चीजें हम खा रहे हैं, पता नहीं किन वजहों से उन्होंने भी अपने स्टैंडर्ड को लो कर दिया है और उसका फायदा उठाकर चालाक लोगों ने आधे से भी ज्यादा, या यूं कहिए 100 ग्राम में 900 ग्राम सिरप मिलाना शुरू कर दिया। तो जब मैंने ये पाया तो पहले मुझे लगा कि मैं क्रांति करूं और मैं सबको बताऊं और ये करूं और वो करूं। मैंने वो करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन पाया कि वो कुछ होना नहीं है। तो अगर मैं सबको नहीं सुधार सकता तो मैं खुद को सुधार सकता हूं। ये सोच के मैंने ये सोचा कि जो लोग शहद चाहते हैं उन तक एक एक करके हम पहुंचे, ऑनलाइन पहुंचे। तो अभी तक हमने यही प्रयास किया है। शायद उसी प्रयासों के फलीभूत मुझे राघव जी जैसे लोग मिले हैं जिन्होंने हमको रिकॉग्नाइज किया। जिस तरह से हम आगे बढ़ते रहे, जिस तरह से लोगों का सहयोग मिला, हम इसमें कुछ हद तक सफल रहे कि लोगों में एक जागृति ला दी कि हमें क्या खाना चाहिए, कैसा खाना चाहिए। शहद को लेके बहुत सी भ्रांतियां भी थी, हम वो भी दूर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये एक ऐसी चीज है। अभी आपने देखा होगा कोरोना के समय सबने रोग प्रतिरोधक क्षमता बढ़ाने के लिए शहद के उपयोग को उपयुक्त माना और वो इसके लिए शहद खरीद के खा रहे थे, जबकि वास्तव में वो सिरप खा रहे थे। और हम जानते हैं कि बहुत बड़े बड़े लोग शहद बेचते हैं जबकि वो मधुमक्खी पालन करते नहीं, तो उनकी तो मजबूरी है। लेकिन हम मधुमक्खी पालकों ने सोचा कि हम दूसरे के लिए कुछ नहीं कहेंगे, अपनी बात कह देंगे कि ये सीधे मधुमक्खी पालन से हम आपको शहद दे रहे हैं और इससे जो हम देश सेवा कर पाएंगे। हम व्यावसायिक नहीं हुए हैं और ना आगे होने का इरादा है। जितना हम उपज सकते हैं उतना अपने संपर्क में आने वाले लोगों को हम बाई कुरियर भेज सकते हैं। और उसके लिए जो भी लीगैलिटीज करनी पड़ी, एक कंपनी बनाना था तो हमने फाबा हनी बना दिया कि ठीक है। और जितने भी कीपर या जितने लोग हमसे मिलते हैं वो सब हमारे साथ आ जाएं। सिर्फ यही उद्देश्य है कि किस तरह से हम इस बदलते भारत में, हम इस बदलते युग में भारत के न केवल अर्थ में बल्कि उसके स्वास्थ्य में भी एक सार्थक परिवर्तन ला सकें, एक सार्थक बल प्रदान कर सकें। और इसमें प्रसन्नता होती है कि जब डॉक्टर राघव, सुरभि जी और रीथिंक इंडिया जैसे संस्थान हमें पहचानते हैं, हमें ऊर्जा प्रदान करते हैं, उनका सहयोग, उनका समर्थन, उनका आशीर्वाद हम लोगों को मिलता है, तो जी चाहता है कि ठीक है, जंगल में अगर कोई कष्ट है, कोई कठिनाई है, तो हम रहें मक्खियों के बीच, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं कोई हमारा भाई, कोई हमारे मित्र, कोई हमारी बहन हमारे इस मेहनत को रिकॉग्नाइज कर रहे हैं। तो मैं ये बताना कभी नहीं भूलूंगा कि मैं मधुमक्खी पालन में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की प्रेरणा से आया हूँ। मैंने उनको एक बार स्वीट क्रांति के बारे में कहते हुए सुना था, और तब से मुझे लगा कि अगर प्रधानमंत्री जी किसी विषय पर बोल रहे हैं तो वो पूरे डेप्थ में जाके बोलते हैं। तो मैंने 2016 से फिर बी कीपिंग शुरू की, और जो भी कर पाया हूँ, जैसा भी कर पाया हूँ, आप लोगों के समक्ष है। प्रयास करूंगा कि और अच्छा कर पाए। व्यवसायिक प्रतिबद्धता जहां आएगी उसको निभाते हुए मैदान में बने रहने के लिए जो करना होगा वो अवश्य करेंगे। और बाकी मैं यहीं पे अपनी वाणी को विराम दूंगा। और जो नक्षत्र मुझे दिया गया है वो भी हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छा होता है, बी कीपिंग के लिए भी बहुत ही सुंदर होता है, तो मैं इसे अपना सौभाग्य ही समझूंगा। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक्स अ लॉट मुकेश जी। मुकेश जी की मधुमय वाणी से जो उनके इस व्यवसाय, उन्होंने व्यवसाय को तो खैर प्रश्न में रखा, अभी हमारे एक और नक्षत्र आएंगे जिन्होंने व्यवसाय उपनिषद का ही प्रणयन कर दिया है कि कहीं ना कहीं हमारी परंपरा में व्यवसाय को लेकर कुछ प्रतिरोध आ गया, पर उनका ये जो प्रयास है जो कि चतुर पुरुषार्थों को पूर्ण रूपेण अंगीकृत करता है, तो इसको हम बहुत ही साधुवाद देते हैं। और मुकेश जी का यह जो अभियान है ये पूरे भारतवर्ष में और प्रखरता से फैले, और उन्होंने जो धर्म का अधिष्ठान पकड़ा कि रॉ हनी को लेकर उनकी जो समझ है, आई थिंक ही इज अ डॉक्टरेट इन दैट स्पेस इटसेल्फ। एक प्रैक्टिशनर होने के लिए उन्होंने पूर्णतया उसका ज्ञान प्राप्त किया और उसको लिबरलाइज वे में प्रस्तुत किया। जो मोक्ष की बात है कि असली हनी ये है, यह तो जिसके साथ चावल भी दिया जा रहा है वो हनी कैसे हो सकता है। तो वो सब बातें जो पुरुषार्थों का चतुष्टय मुकेश जी के कार्य में देखने को मिलता है। आई थिंक दिस इज द कोर ऑफ स्वदेशी भारतीय आत्मनिर्भरता, और इस स्क्वाड के साथ ही हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। दिस इज व्हाट पंडित जी पुट फोर्थ द इंटीग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म। पर से थैंक्स अ लॉट मुकेश जी फॉर बीइंग विद अस एंड एक्सेप्टिंग दिस टोकन ट्रिब्यूट।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी को, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, मुकेश जी ने जो बात कही और हमारे सुनील अग्रवाल जी ने बताया कि किस प्रकार से हम वेल्थ को मैनीफोल्ड्स बना सकते हैं। We have with us the founder and the curator of Advait Publishing, Dr. Arvind Agrawal, who is a veteran management thinker. And he has created a spectacle of literary work. In fact, integral humanism की जो spirit है, चेतना है, दीनदयाल जी ने कभी भी नहीं कहा कि वो कोई नए दर्शन का प्रतिपादन कर रहे हैं। भारतीय परंपरा में तो कंटिन्यूटी का एक भाव रहता है कि हम तो एक हमारी जो परंपरा चल रही है उसी में हमारा एक छोटा सा लघु ये कंट्रीब्यूशन है। तो उसी स्पिरिट में अद्वैत पब्लिशिंग डॉक्टर अरविंद अग्रवाल जिन्होंने फाउंड किया, इट हैज इमर्ज्ड एज द इंटेलेक्चुअल पावर हाउस प्रेजेंटिंग अपीलिंग, बोल्ड एंड सिंपल टू अडॉप्ट सॉल्यूशंस ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग, vicious and complex problems across business, social development and employability. यह चतुष्टय अरविंद जी ने पकड़ा है, but it is all anchored into the precepts, practices and paradigms of Indic traditions with immaculate contemporary and futuristic relevance, worthy to be emulated across the G20. And his magnum opus is the Vyavasay Upanishad, सतसैया के दोहरे ज्यो नाविक के तीर देखन में छोटे लगें और घाव करे गंभीर. Very phenomenal approach, that lovely 900-pager blue book in Indic entrepreneurship what Dr. Arvind Agrawal has produced. It has all those परंपरा से जो सिंचित हमारे व्यवसाय के जो ज्ञान है परिवारों के, उन्होंने उसको बहुत सुंदरता से प्रखरता से प्रस्तुत किया है. वह अपने आप में एक गाथा है. I will request Dr. Arvind Agrawal to accept this token tribute and address the forum. Sir.
Namaste. It is definitely an honor for me personally to be conferred with Dr. Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Commemoration Award for Reengineering India 2020, and absolutely grateful, enormous gratitude to Raghav Bhai and Dr. Surabhi and Rethink India team for considering our work worthy of this award. To introduce something about our approach at Advait Publishing, I would like to share its beginnings. I have been a university professor and management professor for a long time. और एक afternoon में, when I was center head for one of the ICFI colleges, campus का round लेते हुए, I overheard conversation between two students. वो इंदौर में था और हिंदी में बात कर रहे थे वो कि काश अगर मेरी अंग्रेजी अच्छी होती तो ये इंटरव्यू में क्रैक कर लिया होता. That was the moment when I could see that the real problem lies somewhere much far away, much deeper. It is invisible, but it is perpetually playing its damaging role. Something that we call complex, widespread problem. That is what we call the problem which is complex, the problem which is widespread, and the problem which is silent. जो प्रॉब्लम सामने खड़ी है उसका तो इलाज हम कर लेते हैं, लेकिन जो प्रॉब्लम साइलेंटली फैली हुई है, स्कैटर्ड है और अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड है, जिसका रूट कॉज, मतलब कॉज के पीछे का कॉज हमारे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, उस तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स के कारण सोसाइटी जो है वो अटकती रहती है. सो द फाउंडिंग क्वेश्चन ऑन विच अद्वैत पब्लिशिंग इज टुडे स्टैंडिंग अपॉन इज कि व्हाट इज दैट which kind of keeps people means everyone, away from the quality of life which they could enjoy. Quality of life, education, जिसकी बात करें. So though we started our journey with developing solutions for helping people with solution for learning English, because that was the starting moment कि काश अगर मेरी अंग्रेजी अच्छी होती तो मैं ये इंटरव्यू क्रैक कर लिया होता. So I could see that this is not a language related problem, but it is a social problem. It is an economic problem. It is a social problem because without a job, वो बच्चा जो गया बिहार से आया हुआ था करीब 900 किलोमीटर दूर इंदौर पढ़ने के लिए, वो जब अपने परिवार में बोलेगा कि MBA करने के बाद भी मुझे जॉब नहीं मिली, तो उसके गांव में, उसके परिवार में, उसके रिश्तेदारों के बीच उसकी एक जो इमेज होगी वो खराब होगी और होती है. एंड इकोनॉमिक प्रॉब्लम बिकॉज हैविंग अ जॉब विल start a good economic story of his own family, his own self. So looking at the problem not as they appear on the surface but as they are at the deeper level is something which which has been approach of Advait Publishing. And here I would like to say that there are so many solutions which are scientifically known, but because there is no possibility of making a business model around them, they don't come into the mainstream. With language learning also, there are so many solutions, simple solutions, which linguists know, which scientists know, but because there is no possibility of making a business model around it, it doesn't come into mainstream. So that is what we took upon ourselves. But that because there are so many simple solutions available all around us, why not to bring it to mainstream? And that could be done only through a publishing company. So that is where I took upon myself the idea of setting up a publishing entity. And to cut our story short, today we have identified as little in number as 6 domains which keep people from their best, from getting into the next orbit of their career or business or family life. One is English, second is business skills, third is employability skills. Business skills for the people who would like to have their own business, and employability for those who would like to pursue a job. Fourth is skills pertaining to managing money. Fifth is skills for parenting and managing family. And sixth is, like one of our colleague was saying, self-esteem. Self-esteem, self-management is something which keeps people away from their best. So this is how we have identified 6 cornerstones on which we are working, and the potential is immense. And I'll give you only one example. That using the parenting skills, we can cut the number of school years from 12 to 7. We can cut the cost of education for children from maybe 12 lakh rupees for the K-12 to maybe 3 lakh rupees. So there is a lot of possibility of disrupting the way education is happening, disrupting the way the society is moving, disrupting the way the economy is happening. Like Raghav Bhai said, Vyavasay Upanishad is the framework for Naitik Udyamita, ethical entrepreneurship, right? With which we are creating, our partners are creating a platform for ethical entrepreneurs, which is a combination of, we can say, Just Dial multiplied with Amazon, multiplied with Udemy or Lynda. It's a platform which is having directory of ethical entrepreneurs. It is going to provide a marketplace for ethical entrepreneurs, and it is going to provide a learning platform so that small entrepreneurs can fine-tune their business practices, because becoming ethical overnight is not really possible. It has to be a very gradual process. So there is a lot which is possible, and like they say, like in old Hindi movies, it used to happen कि एक गांव में 2 बारात जा रही है और गली छोटी सी थी, तो बारात mix up हो गई, और ultimately it happened that dulhan places garland, varmala on wrong dulha. So it should not happen with Vikas also, because on the name of Vikas, we are addressing wrong issues at times. The true development happens through people development, and that is possible. Like in Japanese ideology also, they call it hiti zukuri or hito zukuri. There is a word. Before producing products, produce good people, and they will take care of producing good products. So that is our long journey that we have taken up. And like they say, कि सत्य हमेशा धीरे चलता है, झूठ की चाल तेज होती है. So that is our experience also. We started with a commitment to ethics and truth, and that is why our journey has been a little slow. And like-minded partners are always welcome to connect with us and join hands. Thanking once again the Rethink India Foundation, Dr. Surabhi, Raghav Bhai, and the entire ecosystem for recognizing our work. And thank you so much to both of you, and to Abhivadan to all the participants here. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir. So this was the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, the second of the blessed feet in Advait, which has been furthering the Advitiya framework of Indic entrepreneurship. And Vyavasay Upanishad is truly a magnum opus, and it's worth possessing as a treatise and going, because it has encapsulated the entire experience nugget of our parampara in a very, very lucid. It's in Hindi as of now, but very readable Hindi. बहुत प्यारी हिंदी में डॉक्टर अग्रवाल ने उसका प्रणयन किया है.
जैसा कि हमारे वक्ता ने कहा कि पहले भारत, आई गेस
पहले इंडिया
फाउंडेशन, राइट. सो वही थॉट प्रोसेस रही है कि मैं ये बुक इंग्लिश में भी लिख सकता था, बट आई रोट इट विथ इंटेंट इन हिंदी ओनली.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Moving forward, we would like to felicitate the Purva Falguni Nakshatra, the first of the reddish ones in Vrikshalaya, which is housed in the pristine hills of Kumaon. And I would request Dr. Surbhi to read out this lovely citation. We have Ajay Rastogi, sir, with us, joining us from these lovely, deep ecological hills of Kumaon. Vrikshalaya is being conferred upon this recognition for Reengineering G20 for having
championed the Indic spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam by unleashing an integrated experiential educational movement comprising of inculcating dignity of physical work, interdependence in society, and interconnectedness with nature for building resilient leadership, accentuating sustainable outcomes, avoiding trade-offs, anchored within the deep ecology of the Himalayan heartland of Kumaon, building a deep transformative appreciation for community capitals comprising of protection of natural resources, acknowledgement of human needs, awareness of social constructs, manufactured infrastructure, and impact of financial flows.
So this is truly an integral compact of resilient leadership, as we can say. And Vrikshalaya attracts students from across the globe to this little pristine hamlet of Majikali near Ranikhet. So the first reddish one, the Purva Falguni Nakshatra, we would like to recognize Ajay Rastogi, sir, and the entire Vrikshalaya team. And over to you, sir.
Thank you, Raghav ji and Surabhi ji. It's indeed such a delight कि आप लोगों ने कहाँ से ढूंढ के निकाले हैं ये नक्षत्र। हम लोग तो बहुत समय से यहाँ काम कर रहे हैं और ये जो जर्नी है ये लगभग इसलिए शुरू हुई क्योंकि मैं देख रहा था कि बहुत सुपरफिशियल लेवल पे चीजें होती हैं, तो अगर उसको डेप्थ करना है तो इनर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की आवश्यकता है, जो कि शायद हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में काफी मिसिंग है। और वो ही आपने जब दीनदयाल जी के बारे में बता रहे थे तो अंदाजा आया कि किस तरीके से उनको अपनी एजुकेशन लाइफ में हुआ और बाहर की लाइफ इन्फ्लुएंस हुई। तो हमने ये देखा कि इनर रेजिलियंस और आउटर रेजिलियंस दोनों ही आवश्यक है, और उसके लिए हमने ये रेजिलियंट लीडरशिप का मॉड्यूल जो कि सब गांव में ही होता है और गांव की महिलाएं और पुरुष उसको पढ़ाते हैं। और उसमें मुख्य रूप से जो 3 पिलर्स हैं उस एजुकेशन के, वो ये एक है डिग्निटी ऑफ फिजिकल वर्क, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि हमारा बहुत सारा नुकसान इस वजह से हुआ क्योंकि हम आर्म चेयर होते जा रहे हैं एजुकेशन की वजह से, जबकि हाथ से काम करने का एक अलग आनंद है। और दूसरा कनेक्टेडनेस, ये जो ट्रांजैक्शनल रिलेशनशिप्स की बात हो रही है सोसाइटी में, उसकी जगह हमारे को एक कनेक्टेडनेस, एक कम्युनिटी ओरिएंटेशन चाहिए। और तीसरा इंटरकनेक्टेडनेस जो एनवायरनमेंट के साथ चाहिए, नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज और लैंडस्केप के साथ कनेक्शन के लिए। तो वंस अगेन आप लोगों ने जो ये मौका दिया है, इससे हम कोशिश करेंगे कि और आगे बढ़े, और इस एनकरेजमेंट के लिए और इस रिकग्निशन के लिए एक बार फिर से तहे दिल से शुक्रिया।
Thanks a lot for taking up such a deep work for resuscitating, I would say, the Indic traditions of integral education in a way. बहुत धन्यवाद sir. Moving forward, we would now like to recognize Drashti, which is a group, which is a unit which has been creating sustainable communities across. So they are being recognized for unleashing an unprecedented, multifaceted movement for re-strengthening and recreating sustainable communities on the principle of community-led self-reliance, creating profitable livelihoods and creating abundance through the nurturing of local leadership. So this is what Drashti has been doing, and Nakshatra, which they have been accorded, is the Hasta Nakshatra. They are actually giving a helping hand to our traditional communities, which really got demonetized in those colonial eras and kind of top-down developmental model which we had been witnessing for these 7 decades. So the kind of self-reliance which is perhaps required. So we have Narayan Sharma ji and the entire team who is present out here. I will request them to please wave your hand or open up your camera so that we can spotlight you out here. Narayan Sharma ji.
Raghav ji, Satyan ji will address the forum from our side.
Okay, Satyan Mishra ji, I will just spotlight him. Yeah. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Narayan, first of all. और G20 को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. इनफैक्ट जो ये हस्त नक्षत्र जो हमें मिला है, हमारी जो एक ब्रांड है जो गांव की महिलाएं जिसको यूज करती हैं अपना सामान सेल करने के लिए, वो मेकिंग इन रूरल इंडिया है, उसको भी हमने हाथ से ही सिग्निफाई किया है. तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. हमारे लिए बहुत शुभ है ये. हमने अपनी जो जर्नी शुरू की थी, और अभी पहले तो मैं बता दूं कि इस पुरुषार्थ की जर्नी जो हमारी है बहुत बेबी स्टेप्स अभी हम लोग ले रहे हैं, छोटे छोटे कदम ले रहे हैं और सीखने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. तो ये रिकग्निशन हमारे लिए इज कमिंग एट द राइट टाइम एंड वी आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड आवरसेल्व्स बेटर एज एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. एक इंट्रोस्पेक्शन चल रहा है और ये जर्नी हमारी शुरू हुई थी करीब 22 साल पहले. तो जब हमने जर्नी शुरू किया तो हमारा विजन एक कनेक्टिंग इंडिया विलेज बाय विलेज था, और हमने ये समझा था कि एक बहुत डीप सेंस ऑफ पेट्रियोटिज्म से हमने पूरी चीज को देखा और समझा कि अगर गांव सुदृढ़ हो तो पूरा देश जो है वो बहुत आगे बढ़ सकता है. और विद दैट काइंड ऑफ रोमांटिसिज्म हम गांव में गए एंड देन वी रियलाइज्ड कि गांव तो अपने आप में ही एक देश है, और वो एक पूरा एक कम्युनिटी जो है उसकी जो एक एनर्जी होती है, जो एक शेयरिंग होती है उसके अंदर में, उस कम्युनिटी का जो पुरुषार्थ है, उससे हमें बहुत बहुत एक ह्यूमिलिटी आई हमारे अंदर में. एक हम समझे कि हम बहुत कुछ सीख सकते हैं, सीखना चाहिए. और वो फिर हमने ये भी समझा कि वो सिर्फ देश के बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक नहीं है, वो तो पूरे एक विश्व के बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक है. तो एक हमारा जो सपना था एक फॉर इंडिया का, जो हमने एक लॉन्च किया था, जैसे हमने दृष्टि स्टार्ट की एंड वी हैड आल्सो लॉन्च्ड अ फॉर इंडिया कैंपेन. So somehow we realized कि जो विजन है cannot just be that of a country.
बताओ, उस समय ना हमारा चल रहा था.
तो ये जो विजन है, ये विजन जो है has to go beyond the country.
Yeah, sorry. Please go ahead, sir.
So it has to have a global think and global seed in it. तो वो जो सोच गांव से निकली है उसको कुछ हद तक हमने पिरोया है दृष्टि के अंदर में. और जैसे मैंने बताया आपको कि आज के डेट में हमने लिखा भी है कि एक मूवमेंट की तरह से एक स्वावलंबन प्रोग्राम को हम रन करते हैं, जिसमें गांव की महिलाएं एक इकोसिस्टम डेवलप करती हैं अन्य महिलाओं के लिए, ताकि वो अपना रोजगार गांव के ही स्तर पे अपना रोजगार सुदृढ़ कर सकें. और ये जो मूवमेंट है, ये मूवमेंट की एनर्जी अगर आप देखें तो it is something which can not just be a building block, जैसे मैंने बताया, एक देश के लिए, पूरे विश्व के लिए हो सकता है. और फिर से एक बार G20 रीइंजीनियरिंग इंडिया एंड रीथिंक मूवमेंट जो है इसके बारे में पहले मैं जान चुका था. एंड राघव जी एंड सुरभि जी, थैंक यू सो मच. एज आई मेंशन, नारायण है यहाँ पर. नारायण ने इसमें बहुत मेहनत की है, और नारायण को मैं चाहूंगा कि वो बस अपना कैमरा ऑन करें और लॉट ऑफ ब्लेसिंग्स लें. जितने जो लोग यहाँ हैं सबसे ब्लेसिंग्स लें. इस जर्नी की शुरुआत हम कर रहे हैं, बट आप लोग की ब्लेसिंग से ये जर्नी हम बहुत आगे तक लेके जा सकते हैं. तो
धन्यवाद सर. धन्यवाद.
And the kind of elaborate submissions which we received from Drashti, this was a nomination from their side. It is truly a magnum opus, और उसको share करने में the kind of learnings, the kind of deep dive which team Drashti is making. Narayanji, really hats off to you for really answered each of those asks so very aptly. We had shared it across to the larger community last midnight, and so this is what the Drashti is actually into action as well. So we really wish you all the best from this forum for.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So moving forward, another Uttara Falguni, the second reddish nakshatra, whom we want to felicitate this afternoon in the name of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji ki Vrakshalaya ke sameep hi एक और अर्बन वृक्षालय जो कि एक्सॉल्टर ग्रुप ने बनाया है, and we would like to felicitate them for having we have with us the entire team of Exalter Group with us. I think we have Mr. Kabir Singh. I would request him to open up his camera so that we can read out the citation in his presence. Yeah, Kabir ji, if you can open up your camera. Okay, so for having dared to catalyze, catapult and cascade the multifaceted development of the pristine landscape of Devabhoomi, Uttarakhand, by developing high quality residential townships in far off interior locales, bringing a host of empowered city dwellers come professionals to relish nature and thereby sow the seeds of future economic growth. So this is what Exalter Group has endeavored to in the hills of Kumaon. It has created lovely, very high quality townships. Now, this is something which is also so very important, what we talked about in the address of Karuna Gopal ma'am, that while we need to conserve our ecology, while we need to have resuscitate our rural habitations, we really do need to have these urban townships so that people can come. The convenience factor which is required, that is also a very important factor. And this is what Exalter Group has been doing it around, and it has really catalyzed a kind of an economic development in the deep hills of Kumaon to really create a kind of a balance which we require for economic and ecological development out here. I request Kabir Singh ji, who is a senior executive with the Exalter Group, to accept this token tribute and also address the forum. Yeah. Kabir ji.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, please. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and namaste. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for inviting me, Subhi ma'am and Raghav sir. They are very kind. I am one of the small member of Exalter Group, and we are developing a lot of projects in Uttarakhand. So, सर हमारे एक प्रेस्टिजियस क्लाइंट्स में से हैं जिन्होंने हमारे यहाँ एक अपना घर बसाया है. तो वी आर वर्किंग ऑन दिस के हम कोई अच्छी चीजें हम लोगों को प्रोवाइड कर सकें, अच्छे घर बना सकें, क्योंकि वहाँ कंस्ट्रक्शन अपडेट्स जो है मोस्टली लोग कंस्ट्रक्शन नहीं कर पाते हैं. तो ये हमारा एक ड्रीम है और हम आगे भी फ्यूचर में काफी अच्छा काम करेंगे. तो बस यही कहना चाहूंगा सर से, और थैंक यू सो मच आपने रिकॉग्नाइज किया हम लोगों को.
थैंक यू कबीर जी, बिकॉज इंटीग्रल वर्ल्ड व्यू में सभी का योगदान है. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इस बार, वित्त मंत्री जी ने विश्वकर्मा स्कीम का लॉन्च किया, तो सभी का समन्वय जब होगा तभी जाके राष्ट्र की जो अर्थनीति है, जो और भी जो डायमेंशंस हैं, वो जाके उभरेंगे. And in that perspective, we felt that a builder, a real estate developer has to be given that respect in the society at large, the recognition which is required, because without roti, kapda or makan, out of the three main requirements of any human being, the makan factor is so very important. Yes, it has to be done with integrity. That is taken over there. But yes, we cannot leave anyone behind. So in that spirit of integral humanism, we would really like to cheer the Exalter Group once more for the fabulous township which they are developing. And in one of the townships, as Kabir ji said, we ourselves have set up our studios and relishing the Himalayan view directly. So thank you, Kabir ji. Thank you, the entire Exalter Group, for giving such an exalted experience. And thank you so much. Moving forward, Sahitya Sangeet Kala Vihina. हम अपने परंपरा में अनादिकाल से सुनते आ रहे हैं, साक्षात मनुष्य पशु पृच्छहीनः. तो भारतीय साहित्य के एक जो मार्तंड हैं, और केवल साहित्य ही नहीं, अश्विनी सांघी जी का नाम और उनके नाम से तो नक्षत्र का नाम ही स्वयं प्रतिपादित ही है. And the beauty of his entire literary journey is that he has unraveled the enigma of Bharat. I would request Dr. Surbi to read out the citation in his honor.
This is to recognize Ashwin Sanghi ji for your Bharat series, comprising of the magicians of Mazda, the vault of Vishnu, keepers of the Kala Chakra, the Sialkot saga, the Krishna key, Chanakya's chant, and the Rosabah line, tethering the
futuristic and global aspirations of an emerging Bharat to that of our hallowed, antiquated past paradigms through the imaginative instrument of engrossing literary tales, duly highlighting the integral quartet and enabling the entire world, including the G20, to interpret the enigma of India. हम लोग जब रामचरितमानस रामायण आई कि भाई तीर चल रहे हैं और किसी तरीके का मिसाइल जक्स्टापोजिशन हो रहा है, सांघी जी की लेखनी में वो तत्व है कि वो मॉडर्न टेक्नोलॉजिकल और साइंटिफिक फेसेट्स को भारतीय परंपरा में इतना अंतर्गुंफित कर देते ही इंटरट्वाइंस इट सो वेरी नेचुरली कि जो मैग्नानिमिटी हमको आती है हमारी माइथोलॉजी में, हमारी ट्रेडिशंस में, he makes us live all through. This Bharat series is truly an ode to this nation, and this in this Amrit Kal we personally feel at Rethink India that every young student should have these books as a must-read readership out here, because the language what Ashwini Sanghi ji is, it surpasses all the fine authors across, and the narrative, the context which he sets, it's truly indigenous. We request Ashwini Sanghi ji, we thank him for joining us at such a short notice and being with us over here and also address the forum. Ashwin Sanghi sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Raghav ji, and thank you, Surbhi ji, for inviting me here. And let me tell you, it is my honor and it is my privilege to be accepting this Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay recognition for re-engineering. And let me tell you, I started out my career not as a storyteller or as a writer. I'm now 53 years old, but I started writing only when I was reaching my 40s. And I think the one thing I realized was that we were producing lots of works of fiction based on philosophy and based on history, but they were always anchored in the West. And if India is a treasure house, Bharat is a treasure house of stories. It is a treasure house of philosophy. And this is something which I felt was not coming to the forefront. Sanatan Dharma is that one example of a no formula faith. There is no one holy book, no single church, no one God. You can have 33 kotis of gods, and you can have Buddha as the 9th avatar of Vishnu, and Christ can be incorporated on the facade of a temple. You can have a figure of Guru Nanak or Sai Baba or Mahavir or any other deity in your puja, and you will still instinctively bow down your head because you know that they are all paths to the divine. You may decide that the path to enlightenment is through yantra, tantra, or mantra. All of them are equally good. And this is what is amazing about Sanatan Dharma, that you can be ritualistic, spiritualistic, tantric, astic, nastic, or simply fantastic. It doesn't matter. Everything works. And you can be a Shaivite or a Vaishnavite. You can be into bhakti or shakti. You can consider the path as one of artha, kama, dharma, or moksha. You may worship a statue or a stone or a cow or a monkey or the sun or the moon or the river or the mountain, fire, or even another human being. You may call Raghavji a stone a shivling, and I may call a shivling a stone, but both of us are equally welcome. You can be vegetarian or omnivore. You can pray in your home. You can pray in the temple. You can pray on a mountain by the river bank or at a cremation ground, or not pray at all. We can have 300 versions of the Ramayana and 1000 versions of the Mahabharata, but your version does not negate my version. That is where I believe that this is a country which is like no other. It has been said very often, people make the mistake of correlating philosophy and religion. I have always maintained that philosophy is those questions that can never be answered, and religion is those answers that can never be questioned. So I think if we can simply dig into our philosophical roots, into our rich history, into our culture, into our heritage, and if we can produce works that can be easily absorbed by the younger generation and can instill a feeling of pride in our rich culture and heritage, then I am only playing a very, very small part in trying to achieve that. So I'm truly honored and very grateful that you have found it, you have deemed that I am worthy of this recognition, for which मुझे आपको अपना प्रणाम कहना है. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Ashwin ji, for having graced this forum and the beautiful way in which you have encapsulated the infinitum of Sanatan Dharma is truly enigmatic, and this is what makes Ashwin Sanghi ji, I would say, the legendary literary figure, which inspires the youngsters to actually get into the domain of Sanatan Dharma through the instrument of literature. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us and accepting this token tribute. We at Rethink India would try to push through this magnanimous Bharat series as an instrument to really get into romance, as you said, becoming romantic about India. This is probably the series which we can land upon to. So moving forward or a bit backward, I think Vivek Anandji, we have got him. Vivek ji, if you can open up your video and address the forum, we would request you. We are being joined in by Rajiv Malhotra sir from US in a short while, and he is being accorded the nakshatra, the Jyeshtha nakshatra. He has emerged as the modern Veda Vyasa, where he is taking up both as an intellectual and as a Kshatriya, as a Vaishya, and as a Shudra. Like, all fashion, he is trying to reignite the Indic parampara, taking on the battles of future, setting out the geopolitical spectrum, a vision for the country. So we would be having him in a short while. We have Anurag Sharma ji, who has been sitting from Infinity Foundation. We heard him a bit more. We would also be joined in by M. Nageshwar Rao ji in a short while as well. So Vivek Anand ji, if you can open up your camera, and we would really like to know about Sampada somehow. So please, you are most welcome. Vivek Anand ji. And we would be having a string of melodious singers of Braj Bhumi, and today is a celebration of Braj Bhumi because primarily Pandit ji came from the loving and romantic Bhumi of Lord Krishna. Karma Yogi himself, he learned that from Krishna's lifetime. So we would be recognizing three eminent singers of the Braj tradition, which have really lived it across. And I think we would also be joined in by representatives from the Braj Tirth Vikas Parishad, which has laid out the, I would say, the facets of constitutional Ramarajya in some fashion or the other, while the spirit of tourism is so much in vogue. Braj Tirth Vikas Parishad came forward as a constitutional construct under the Uttar Pradesh State Legislative Assembly, and the Honorable Chief Minister Mahant Yogi Adityanath ji, he renamed the old body called Braj Planning and Development Board as Braj Tirth Vikas Parishad. It is a distinction from the sacred confines of India कि भारत में जो tourism जो है, it's a तीर्था first, it's the sacred bhumi of Bharatvarsh, कण कण यहाँ पवित्र है. So in that spirit, this legislative framework and the body, which is headed by a former IPS officer, very legendary one, Shri Shailajakant Mishra sir. So we have given Braj Tirth Vikas Parishad the nakshatra of the Mool nakshatra, because शासन तत्व हमारे कहते हैं कि सांस्कृतिक मान बिंदुओं की रक्षा राज्य सत्ताएं ही कर सकती हैं, और जब आप शासन सत्ता में तीर्थ को प्रशस्ति देते हैं, इट्स नॉट दैट कॉलोनियल डिजाइन ऑफ टूरिज्म, ऑफ बिजनेस टूरिज्म पर से, पर जहां पे कण कण पवित्र है, ब्रज भूमि की तो रज मात्र पवित्र है, तो वो तीर्थ का भाव जो ब्रज विकास तीर्थ परिषद के कांधों पर आया है कि तीर्थ की दृष्टि से विकास किया जाए, तो उसके लिए हम उन्हें इस छोटे से रिकॉग्निशन से वी विश टू रिकॉग्नाइज देम. सो okay, so Manya Arora ji is another enigmatic singer who has been given the nakshatra of the Anuradha. Like in the Mirabai tradition, she has been singing and bringing to the fore that love and affection of the Braj tradition, and her renditions are primarily solo, And so they basically synthesize and synchronize the quad of dharma, kama, and moksha in a Swantah Sukhai solo renditions. And through her melodies, you can interpret the enigma of spiritual Bharat. So this is what we wish to recognize Manya Arora ji. We might be having her in a short while from now. And yet another group which we want to recognize, because these musicians, these people, they are now heavily traveling. The Madhwas rock band, whom we have given the title of Dhanishta Nakshatra, the most famous of them all. And let's play a bit. One of their most, I would say, heard song, "The Glory of Vrindavana," because that is what. That is the land of Deen Dayal ji as well. And we have the representative from Madhwas. From the very start, we were just looking for them to also participate. So let's hear this.
Good evening, all.
Akanksha Mukherjee from Madhwas. So let's listen to this melody.
वृंदावन धाम मंदिर झलकावा नाचे बजावे देखो श्याम गाना वृंदावन धाम कृष्ण मंदिर झलकावा नाचे बजावे देखो श्याम गाना जमुना जी की बहती धारा मधुर है कितना नजारा खिलत आज हम सबों को लगे जमुना जी की बहती धारा मधुर है कितना नजारा खिलत आज हम सबों को वृंदावन धाम निराला रत्न मंदिर झलकाला नाचे बजावे देखो श्याम भोला कमल के फूलों की पंखुड़ियों से है घिरा हुआ स्थान सुंदर स्वर्ण का लुभावना अष्ट पंखुड़ियां है साजे अष्ट गोपियां विराजे बीच में विराजे राधे का श्याम अष्ट पंखुड़ियां है साजे अष्ट गोपियां विराजे बीच में विराजे राधे का श्याम वृंदावन धाम निराला रत्न मंदिर झलकाला बंसी बजावे देखो श्याम श्याम मेरा बाबरा संगून के राधिका दिव्य जोड़ी के जाऊं बलिहारी दिव्य लीलाएं हैं ये हृदय में सदा रहे करे विनती धरातम नासर दिव्य लीलाएं हैं ये हृदय में सदा रहे करे विनती धरातम नासर वृंदावन धाम निराला रत्न मंदिर झलकाना बंसी बजावे देखो श्याम वृंदावन धाम निराला रत्न मंदिर झलकाना बंसी बजावे देखो श्याम
So this is the melodious reverberation which Madhuraj has brought in.
Hare Krishna. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and do not forget to hit the bell icon. If you would love to help Madhavas to contribute to our next project, you can donate by clicking this button. So keep on watching more videos to have super blissful life. Stay tuned.
So Madhva's rock band has pepped up the entire universe of brush traditions by tethering it to the most modern trends in musical renditions, intertwining the twin purusharthas of earth and kama to that of transcendental dharma and moksha, presenting a unique blend for the G20 populace to emulate. तो भारतीय भक्ति संगीत का जो पैप्ड अप वर्जन मधवाज लेकर आए हैं विद नीरज सोपती जी एंड
Neha Bahel ji.
So we have with us Akanksha Murgai ji to receive this token tribute from this August forum. I will request Murgai ji to accept this and also address the forum.
Good evening, all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Raghav ji. Thank you, Surbhi ji. It's really a huge honor for me to be part of this wonderful event. And it is a huge honor to receive this award on the behalf of Madhavas. We are really thankful to our beloved Shri Krishna and Srimati Radharani, as whatever today Madhavas is all because of their mercy, because of them. So actually this award goes to them, not Madhavas, right? And it was really a wonderful journey of Madhavas with many ups and downs throughout. And we just started with like a normal other band consisting of friends in a college. And in 2009, Madhava's rock band burst into the music scene by winning second runner-up in IGT season 3. And it was loved by many audience and was appreciated by many celebrities. Then we started making bhajans and got popular on YouTube as well with our spiritual bhajans, Krishna bhajans. And apart from this, we have a huge family, Madhava's family on YouTube, Instagram, and as well as Facebook. And our basic motto is to connect the youth, connect the youngsters with the Indian culture values, to connect them with the traditional roots which are missing these days. So we are trying, and still we have achieved some numbers successfully by composing our music videos in a modern twist. So it is only by the blessings of Krishna, Shri Krishna and Srimati Radharani that we have achieved all this, and whatever we are today is because of their mercy only. And special thanks goes to the real heroes of our life, that is Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. They have been a guide, they have been guiding Madhavas throughout each and every phase, solving each and every tiny query. And thanks to the family members and our band members, those have supported us day and night. And special thanks to the entire Madhavas family that is YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook followers who have been constantly praying and showering blessings, infinite blessings on us. So we would like to seek the blessings from all the devotees who are present over here, so that we may keep on serving at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and Shri Krishna. And again, thank you so much for recognizing our work and honoring us with a wonderful award and inviting us to the wonderful event. Thanks to the entire team of Rethink organization for inviting us and for hosting such a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhvaz, for really coming over here despite such a packed musical schedule, and weekends are really quite packed for all the musical renditions.
Yeah, true.
So we'll have Sopti ji and sometime
Yeah,
separately.
sure.
Because this genre of music, the kind of energy which has come across, so this is something which is quite inspiring for the younger generation to really emulate.
Yes.
So
Our main motive is to inspire the young generation people only, because older ones are already connected to their traditional values, but the it's missing in the young generation, right? So we are trying to connect as much as we can. कहते हैं ना, चलते जाओ कृष्णा निभाते हैं, हम तो चल रहे हैं, वही निभा रहे हैं, वही कर रहे हैं.
Lovely. So moving forward, we would be joined in by the Braj Keepers, the duo of very shortly.
Dhruv Sharma ji and Swarna Shri ji.
Yes.
They're just joining in. They're actually in travel from Deeg to Delhi.
Yes.
They're in transit. They're just joining in. Sir, could you log in, sir, now?
So one of our other special awardees, Vrindavan Today, whom we wanted to recognize, पर ब्रज में आरती संध्या वंदन का समय होता है. We just missed Jagannath Poddar ji and Baba Satyanarayan Das Baba ji, who have initiated this very lovely platform of Vrindavan Today, whereby it's a kind of a new age media platform dedicated to Braj Bhumi, and it is relentlessly striving for furthering the culture, heritage, tradition and devotion of Braj Bhumi, the land of Shri Krishna, by way of its enriched and empowered journalistic reportage and other eclectic engagements integrally anchored into the quad of Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha, presenting an emphatic role model to be emulated for journalistic outfits dedicated to geocultural locales across G20. While there is a talk of globalization, there is a reverse talk of localization as well. So I am requesting Dr. Surbi to just take Jagannath Poddar ji, the publisher of this lovely media platform, on phone, so that at least we can have his phone presence. Jagannath ji, I have taken you on the phone. We missed you. We are very sorry that हम से त्रुटि हो गई, आपका संध्या वंदन का समय हो गया. You are on the speaker, and you please, so we have just read out the citation of Vrindavan Today, and we would like you to speak a few words. The Shatabhish Nakshatra, requiring 100 physicians. Vrindavan is so very eclectic, so very dense. तो वृंदावन टुडे के पब्लिशर जगन्नाथ पोद्दार जी हमारे साथ फोन पर हैं. मैं उनसे निवेदन करूंगा कि वो 2 शब्द इस मौके पर कहें. जगन्नाथ जी प्लीज.
राधे राधे. राघव जी, आपको, सुरभि जी, आपको और रीथिंक इंडिया और जितने भी इसमें पार्टिसिपेंट हैं, सबको मेरी हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं कि आपने इतना बड़ा कार्यक्रम ऑर्गेनाइज किया. और साथ में मैं देख रहा था 3 बजे से लेके 5:15 बजे तक था. मैं किसी अर्जेंट दर्शन तो होता ही है ब्रजवासियों का, व्हाट टू डू, और ये समय है अपने जाने का. तो इसलिए मैं पहले पूछा था स्लॉट अगर मालूम पड़ जाता ना तो हम उस हिसाब से एडजस्ट कर लेते.
क्षमा चाहता हूँ मैं.
एनीवे, ये बहुत ही अच्छा इनिशिएटिव है और थैंक यू कि हमको ना ये वृंदावन टुडे, जबकि मेरा पर्सनल, मैं फ्रेंड्स ऑफ वृंदावन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चलाता हूँ, एक्टिविस्ट हूँ. स्वच्छ भारत जो चलता है मोदी जी का, तो 1996 में हमने स्टार्ट किया था ये. दैट इज अ डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और ये दोनों सिस्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है. और वृंदावन टुडे उसी का ही एक पार्ट है, वही इनिशिएटिव का एक पार्ट है. ब्रज को जिस तरह से, क्योंकि हमने ब्रज में जन्म लिया है, एंड आई हैव सीन हाउ वी आर लूजिंग द ब्रज, जिसके एनवायरमेंटल कंजर्वेशन के पार्ट में तो बिल्कुल खत्म ही है ब्रज। ब्रज मतलब ब्रजराज, गिरिराज, यमुना, यहाँ के कल्चर, ये सब कुछ हम धीरे धीरे डिमिनिश हो रहा है। तो यही इसी मुहिम के साथ हमने वृंदावन टुडे स्टार्ट किया था। उसमें ट्रेडिशन, हेरिटेज, कल्चर और डिवोशन, ये 4 हमारा टैगलाइन है, जिसको लेके हम लोग पब्लिश कर रहे हैं। ऑनलाइन हम है vrindavantoday.in, vrindavantoday.com, और साथ में ये मैगजीन हमारा मंथली पब्लिकेशन है। तो हम एक काम करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं जिससे पूरे विश्व भर के लोगों को ब्रज वृंदावन क्या है। इट्स नॉट अबाउट द टेम्पल, इट्स नॉट अबाउट द डेटी। ये कृष्ण, पहले कृष्ण को समझना होगा, उनके लाइफ को समझना होगा। कृष्ण एक सबसे पहले एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट थे, और उन्होंने ही कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन गिरिराज जी को उठा के ये मैसेज दिया कि सबने डंडा पकड़ा और इंद्र के मान को भंजन किया उन्होंने। तो कृष्ण के तो काफी रोल हैं, तो कृष्ण को समझना पड़ेगा। जैसे ही अगर हम कृष्ण को समझ पाते हैं तो हम पर्यावरण को कभी क्षति नहीं पहुंचाएंगे, मदर नेचर को कभी क्षति नहीं पहुंचाएंगे। यहाँ के रिवर, यहाँ के हिल्स, इन सबको बचाना होगा। तो उसी में हम वोकल होना चाहते थे, इसलिए हमने वृंदावन टुडे हमने स्टार्ट किया, और उसमें धीरे धीरे काम कर रहे हैं। इतना सफल हो पा रहे, नहीं हो पा रहे, ये हरी इच्छा, पता नहीं क्या कर पा रहे, मगर एक हमारा इंटेंशन है ब्रज धाम की सेवा करना, उसके लिए अच्छी अच्छी बातें लिखना, और ब्रज को जो हम बाकी लोगों को जो पेन है, जो डिवोटीज हैं ब्रज के सही मायने, तो उन लोगों के वॉइस को वृंदावन टुडे के माध्यम से दुनिया के सामने लाना, ये हमारा काम है। एक्चुअली आई एम ऑन द वे, और मैं पूरे मूड में नहीं हूँ बोलने का, सॉरी फॉर दिस, बट थैंक यू अगेन एवरीवन।
थैंक यू जगन्नाथ जी, थैंक यू सो मच। और ब्रज का जो समग्र चिंतन, ब्रज का जो समग्र भाव अगर हमको प्राप्त करना है तो वृंदावन टुडे की जो गहरी रिपोर्टाज है, कंटेम्पररी से लेकर फिलोसॉफिकल नगेट्स, ब्रज वृंदावन टुडे आपके समक्ष लाता है। और जगन्नाथ जी जिस भाव के साथ में ब्रजवासी हैं तो वो प्रस्तुत करते हैं, तो दैट इज द पर्सन ऑफ वेयर इंटीग्रल ह्यूमैनिज्म केम फ्रॉम। मैं यहाँ पर संतों की वाणी ये कहते हैं कि कुरुक्षेत्र के रण क्षेत्र पर भगवान श्री कृष्ण ने गीता का जो ज्ञान प्रदत्त किया, वो उन्होंने वास्तव में गोपियों के साथ जब वो अटखेलियां होती थी ब्रज में रमण करते थे, तो कृष्ण ने उसको वहां प्रतिपादित किया। तो ब्रज भूमि की जो विलक्षणता है, उसके प्रति जो भाव है, जिसको हमने अभी देखा कि मध्वास गा रहे हैं, अनंत संतों ने गाया है, और दीनदयाल जी जिनकी आज पुण्यतिथि का हम कमेमोरेशन कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने भी उसी रज से, उसी भूमि से यह इंटीग्रल ह्यूमैनिज्म का भाव, वहां तो ब्रजवासी जीते हैं, धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष के भाव को जीते हैं। और मैं एक बार पुनः क्षमा प्रार्थी हूँ जगन्नाथ जी से कि थोड़ा समय विलंब हो गया, तो उनको ब्रजवासी सब छोड़ देता है पर अपनी ठाकुर जी की संध्या आरती नहीं छोड़ सकता। तो हमें लोभ था कि भाई थोड़ा और रुक जाते वो, पर तकनीक की सहायता से चलिए उनका मौखिक संवरण हमको मिल गया। मैं डॉक्टर सुरभि से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि शैलजाकांत सर को भी अगर आप फोन पे ले लें, इफ ही कैन नॉट ज्वाइन इन थ्रू जूम। एंड ब्रज कीपर्स आर जस्ट कमिंग टू अस एंड वी आर जस्ट वेटिंग फॉर राजीव मल्होत्रा सर, द ज्येष्ठा नक्षत्र ऑफ and Manya ji might be joining us, so let's play once more one of her renditions, so till we are joined in by, because हम लोग पंगत भेद नहीं करना चाहते, जिसका है उसका एक ट्रिब्यूट we can play. तो I'm just playing Manya Arora ji's this tribute to Braj Bhumi.
धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रज धाम आके देखो। धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रज धाम आके देखो। जीवन का अर्थ क्या है, जीवन का अर्थ क्या है, गोविंद गा के देखो। धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रिज धाम आके देखो। देखो जिधर उधर ही हल्ला मचा हुआ है, माया के जाल में हर व्यक्ति फंसा हुआ है। प्रीतम की छवि प्यारी, प्रीतम की छवि प्यारी, दिल में बसा के देखो। धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रिज धाम आके देखो। अब भी समय है प्यारो, गोविंद का नाम गा लो। मौका न छूट जाए, किस्मत को तुम जगा लो। चरणों की धूल अपने, चरणों की धूल अपने मस्तक लगा के देखो।
So Surbhi, I don't know how to join. I'm registered, but I don't know if I'm in the right place or not. Okay. So how long will it be before I can get in?
धरती में स्वर्ग क्या है, ब्रिज धाम आके देखो।
So we have been joined in by Rajiv Malhotra sir and also the Braj Keepers. So I will just come to Rajiv Malhotra sir and the last leg of the felicitations and taking his benedictions over here. So we have, I will just play the, I would say the Braj Keepers song here, and Dhruv Sharma ji and Swarna Shri ji are with us. So just short song of theirs and then we will felicitate them. Yeah.
कर दो बेड़ा पार राघवेल बेली सरकार, कर दो बेड़ा पार राघवेल बेली सरकार, राघवेल बेली सरकार, राघवेल बेली सरकार, कर दो।
मन चले वृंदावन धाम, राधे राधे गाएंगे। मन चले वृंदावन धाम, राधे राधे गाएंगे। राधे राधे गाएंगे, श्यामा श्यामा गाएंगे। राधे राधे गाएंगे, श्यामा श्यामा गाएंगे।
So this is the Braj Keepers for all of you, the lovely couple in Dhruv Sharma ji and Swarna Shri ji, और उनको यह जो मेरे को, I will just request them to open up their video so that I can spotlight them. Dhruv Shri ji, yeah. Dhruv ji, can you please come on the video so that we can spotlight you? Yeah. Yes. जी प्रणाम। So the Braj Keepers are being felicitated with the Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay recognition in the ambit of integral humanism for having resuscitated the pristine melodies of Braj Bhumi in a Yugal Swarup, encapsulating the philosophical precepts of Braj Acharyas and Sadhaks, which constituted the foundations of the political doctrine of integral humanism, which is guiding and goading the G20 under the motto of वसुधैव कुटुंबकम। तो ब्रज के आचार्यों की जो रहनी है सहनी है, ब्रज के साधकों की जो बातें रही हैं, उसको ध्रुव जी और स्वर्णश्री जी ने जिस प्रकार से अपने मधुर कंठ से, मधुर गायन से प्रस्तुत किया है, और वही इंटीग्रल ह्यूमैनिज्म का जो कोर दार्शनिक आधार बना है, हम उसके लिए उनका अभिवादन इस मंच से करना चाहते हैं। और यही जो इंटीग्रल ह्यूमैनिज्म का मूल है, इसी ने वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की जो ये परंपरा, जिसका आर्शनाद G20 के लेवल पर हो रहा है, तो यह ब्रजभूमि से बढ़ते हुए और पूरे विश्व में ऐसी हमारी तो मैं निवेदन करूंगा ध्रुव जी से और स्वर्णश्री जी से कि वो इस छोटे से एक ट्रिब्यूट को एक हमारे इसको स्वीकार करें, और उनको जो नक्षत्र ठाकुर जी की कृपा से मिल रहा है वह पुनर्वसु, जो कि युगल भाव में है, द टू रेस्टोरर्स ऑफ गुड्स, पुनर्वसु नक्षत्र के रूप में हम आपका अभिवादन करते हैं। तो ध्रुव शर्मा जी एंड स्वर्णश्री जी, प्रणाम।
आप सभी को हमारा राधे राधे। वी आर क्वाइट obliged to be here, और हम लोग बहुत अच्छा ये मानते हैं कि रीथिंक इंडिया और आप सभी लोग जो आपका कॉलेज है, इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज, जो सारी चीजें हैं, आप बहुत ही एक सुंदर कार्यक्रम कर रहे हैं यूथ को जगाने के लिए, और फेलिसिटेशन सबका कर रहे हैं, और दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी की सेइंग्स और उनकी टीचिंग्स को आप लोग आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं और उसी मार्ग पर चल रहे हैं। और यहाँ पर अभी हम लोग बस अपने प्रोग्राम से फ्री हुए हैं, किसी कारणवश हम लोग जूम पर आ पाए लेट थोड़ा सा, लेकिन हम लोग बहुत
I think we have lost them. They were in the remote area of Braj, towards the southwest portion of Braj, Deeg and Adi Badrinath। आप सभी को पता होगा कि ब्रज भूमि में भारतवर्ष के सभी तीर्थ निवास करते हैं, तो वहीं पे आदि बद्री हैं, जहां राधा कृष्ण के विलास के लिए पूरे आदि बद्री, केदारनाथ, गंगोत्री, वह तीर्थ, द मैक्रोकॉस्म ऑफ इंडिया इज देयर इन द माइक्रोकॉस्म ऑफ ब्रज भूमि आउट देयर। सो बहुत बहुत प्रणाम ब्रज कीपर्स का कि they could join us from that remote location. The connectivity is a bit low. And coming to the close of today's commemoration, we have the legend and I would say the modern Vedavyasa, who is fighting hundreds of battles single-handedly, the intellectual battles of the effulgence and resurgence of Sanatan Bharat on a geopolitical frontier, none other than Sir Rajiv Malhotra sir. And I would request Dr. Surbhi to read out his because this citation just cannot do justice to the magnanimous persona what Rajiv sir is all about, a rishi spirit in himself, and Rajiv sir is being bestowed upon this token tribute in the name of Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji for re-engineering G20 in the ambit of integral humanism, for having catalyzed and curated an integral universe of global academic discourse, defending the original Indic paradigm from all possible incursions in an extremely graded manner, starting from breaking India, Western interventions in Dravidian and Dalit fault lines, to being different, an Indian challenge to Western universalism, to academic Hindu phobia, a critique of Wendy Donaiger's erotic school of Indology, to Indra's net, defending Hinduism's philosophical unity, to the battle of Sanskrit. Is Sanskrit political or sacred, oppressive or liberating, dead or alive? To Sanskrit non-transitables, the importance of Sanskritizing English. This book was co-authored by Satyanarayan Babaji, who was there with us earlier from Vrindavan. And artificial intelligence and the future of power. 5 battlegrounds Rajiv sir has laid over there, to the latest book, Snakes in the Ganga, जो कि शुरू में शर्मा जी ने उसके बारे में बताया था, laying the firm integral intellectual foundations for India's original push on the forefronts of geo-civilizational politics, enunciating the Vedic idea of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam to the G20. So Rajiv sir has given all the intellectual arsenal, all the intellectual defense, which this 140 crore people of Sanatan Rishis need to rise high in this Amrit Kal as initiated by the Prime Minister, because the modern battles will be the battles of mind. And we are really fortunate to have such a savant, such a Rishi in Rajiv Malhotra sir, to have grouped it all together and presented us the material and the fighting spirit to take, to really make India Divya and Bhavya Bharat. Over to Rajiv sir to accept this token tribute and address this forum. Sir.
Namaste. I'm really honored and indebted and humbled by this award, and I accept it with great humility on behalf of Infinity Foundation's team. You know, I'm very fond of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay and his integral humanism. They have influenced me a lot. What I found very striking, of course, unfortunately, he died very young, very early, and did not finish his work, which is for us to do. He was somebody in this era of, you know, recently recent freedom India had gotten, and he was one of those vibrant guys at the vibrant brains at that time. He criticized, I mean, look at the audacity and the courage. He criticized both the Congress party and his own party. He criticized both of them, saying that they have not come up with their new vision for today. The new vision is needed for every era, needs its own new vision, the new smritis. You know, in our tradition, the Shruti is the same, it's eternal, but Smriti is very time sensitive, context sensitive, regional sensitive. It has to be revived, updated, redone every time. So he was developing the new Smriti, this integral humanism. That is what he said. He gave 4 lectures, and unfortunately he did not live to elaborate in more detail. But if you look at those, the body of work collectively called Integral Hinduism by him, it's actually the beginning of a whole piece of research and a revival and a rediscovery of how to bring Vedic thought in today's time, how to apply Vedic thought for today, how to apply it in the context of modern democracy, modern science. So I feel so inspired because, you know, sometimes people tell me that why are you saying something, you know, new, different, what is, it's all been written already. The point is, Shruti has been written already, but the Smriti is new. We have to redo the Smriti because the enemies change. Today's Mahabharata is different than the past because we have different kind of enemies. They have different strategies, different things. Previously, it was regional. Now it's global. So the weapons are different. Now there is artificial intelligence, things like that, you know. So I think it is probably the most inspiring thinker of modern times for our students to understand and take forward would be Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. And that is why when they told me that this particular celebration and this particular occasion and these awards are in his memory, I was very delighted. So I will close with that, just to inspire our youth that please study his works. It's not, he was not in favor of being deified, that he's another, you know, devata and we just worship him and we are happy. We have a big road named after him, which is great. It's good to honor our people so that the memory lives and inspires more people. It is good to do that, important to do that, but not enough. We have to go even beyond that and really study his works. So I would love to request the organizers, Rethink India, who are doing an amazing job, that maybe what we need to do is have a conference which says taking Deen Dayal Upadhyay's integral humanism into the future, because he was very critical of people in his time who were basically stuck in the past and they were not applying the knowledge for his time. And so imagine now things have moved even further from his time. And in the true spirit of Panditji, we have to take that knowledge forward. So with that, I will close and say that I'm humbled. I'm very appreciative of this. I will be, by the way, I will be in India, arriving on the 16th of February for 5 weeks. We are launching 4 new books. One of them is called The Battle for IITs, which explains how Harvard University has launched a huge attack on IITs, calling it casteist and Brahminical and oppressing Dalits and all these kind of things. And based on that, some lawsuits are coming against IITians and Brahmins and tech workers in general in Silicon Valley. That is a very big tragedy. The second book we are launching is called Varna Jati Caste, which actually gives a proper response from our tradition on the history, sociology, political thought of India, social structure, and how it got distorted over time, and how the modern version of caste is not the same thing as the traditional Varna Jati, and how these abuses have come, which are there, which have to be sorted out and gotten rid of. So it's a whole work on that. And then we have a third volume is written by our young scholars. Anurag is one of them. And this is called Ravan, 10 Heads of Ravan. And what we are doing is we have picked 10 major scholars who are very intellectually anti-Hindu, anti-Vedic society. Some are Americans, some are Indians. You will recognize the names. And that book is going to be launched at a big event, March 1 in Delhi University. The Bharatiya Book Club is going to launch that, and all of you are welcome. And then the fourth one is called Future of Machine Power. It's a artificial intelligence book, not how to write Python, programming or developing technical stuff, but policy. What are the social implications of artificial intelligence, both good and bad, and what should we be concerned about? Because there are some concerning things also. So that's the fourth book. It's also got many different authors in it. Now, those of you who are Delhi-based, the World Book Fair is happening February 26, and we are launching 2 of our books at the World Book Fair, February 26, and a third one will be launched on March 4, and one of them will be launched in Delhi University, as I mentioned, on March 1st. So all of you are invited, and I would love to stay in touch with this good organization that I just discovered because they approached me, and I hadn't heard of them. I'm terribly sorry to say that. But now I'm connected and look forward to many more events in the future in joint collaboration.
Thanks a lot.
Namaste and Jai Hind.
To bestow upon the Jyeshtha Nakshatra on Rajiv Malhotra sir being the eldest, being the eldermost in this whole commemoration, and in the true spirit of Deen Dayal ji, he has really brought about such a vast body of convincing work, which we youngsters can really rely upon and use it for really defending the Sanatan Dharma. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us, for joining us at this very early hour from US. And with this, I would now request Dr. Surbhi, who called it all together. She was after everyone to join us in this commemoration to put the vote of thanks. And we will then close the ceremony of today. Yeah.
It's a great honor and privilege to witness such a illumining and such a scintillating galaxy of luminaries and such learned personalities across sectors and dimension, commemorating the Punyatithi of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji, who took the torch flame of integral humanism in such a profound manner. We, on behalf of all of us at Rethink India, we wish to thank you, each of the 28 nakshatras. You have truly lit up the sky, the bright sky, and will reminisce in this on this great day in our hearts forever for this all this great work. And with these words,
Pranams to everyone.
Pranams to everyone.
With your permission, we'll close.